Yeah.
So he has to
Who's
keep
he
it.
spying on, and who's he spying for?
Who isn't he spying on?
Could he be a spy for the Canadian government? I mean, because I don't think he's a double agent because he gets genuinely, worked up when you insult Canada. So he's got that patriotic DNA, which a lot of the people that work in the intelligence apparatus have. He travels a lot. You should look at his passport. I mean, it looks like a spook's passport. And then,
it really does.
Why is he always carrying string, Wes? Spook training. So, I think he is a spook. Anyways, what were you gonna say?
I just wanted to test. Does this mute me? 3, 2, 1.
Muted.
And then I'm back now?
Yep, you're back.
Yes.
Now.
All right. Successfully vibe coded a little, hey, mute that.
Oh my God.
Oh my
God.
That's funny.
Well, no, I mean, I did it. That was part of this morning. There's a lot that goes on in the morning.
I'm getting a little crackle on the remote audio, but as long as it's not in your local audio, I think it'll be fine.
Hopefully not. I don't hear it. I don't think I heard cracks in my.
Yeah.
You might do a little test record.
Yeah, it could. Maybe you got a sentence to read. Might do a local test recording. Make sure you don't got the cracks before we get going.
Good question. Yeah.
And as he does that, I'll say, good morning, everybody. We're getting set up for Linux Unplugged 640, if you can believe it. We're just about to get started. Wes is coming in remote.
Yeah, okay. Let's get a little crackle test going. I was going to read something, but then, I didn't actually pull up anything to read. Linux breaks 5% desktop share in US, signaling open source surge against Windows and Mac OS. That's
okay, I heard plenty there. So I heard it when you said Linux, and I heard it when you said against Mac OS.
And breaks right at the start.
So if you don't hear it there, then we're good.
Yeah, but I don't want you hearing it.
I wonder what that would be.
Okay, do you hear it now?
I think so.
Oh, you do?
I don't hear it consistently, so sometimes it takes a few seconds before it pops in. I don't hear it now. So maybe tell me how the weather is.
Well, the weather's a lovely, crisp fall day here.
Not hearing it.
Light clouds.
Okay.
Really? I didn't change anything.
It doesn't happen consistently, so it's not like it's a game wrecker. You'd have to probably...
weird.
You'd probably have to read another sentence to really test it, but I'm not hearing it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Maybe it's CPU related. Yeah, so Tech Dev, you're going to get a little bit hot feed from the boys today in the mumble rooms because you're all on a digital jack bus that's getting some compressor applied to it. And then they're coming in to an analog mixer that we're doing. Well, it's a digital, but it's analog connection coming in which is a different mix than I'm hearing the recordings getting and the streams getting. And that's just because you guys are actually on the same system, just on different jack interfaces. So they'll both sound probably a little louder than me. I'm also not being very loud because the show hasn't started, but you'll be surprised how much louder I get accidentally once the show starts.
Hey, speaking of being loud, Chris.
Yeah.
No, Wes is back. Go ahead with the sound check.
So I think it should be fine. It's fine locally, at least in my little test anyway.
Good.
No crackles there.
Okay, good.
So, all right, proceed. Sorry about that. Thank you for testing with me.
Go ahead, Tech Dev.
Well, I had a question. 2, actually, but one of them may not be necessary right now.
Okay.
This is unrelated to show topics at the moment. I'm curious, though, if you, Wes, Brent, and anyone else in chat rooms or Mumble were to do a real quick brain dump of your top 10 conferences for 2026 that you'd plan to go for, what would they be?
Oh, geez. It's interesting because I just got my head out of the conference thing with getting back from Texas. That's a good question. Usually scale is always on our list because of the scope of it and the scale of it. And then now also that NixCon has been attached, or Planet Nix. So scale is often on our list. Linux Fest Northwest is in our backyard. Yeah, it's tricky to say because I don't have any of them financed, right? So in order for us to go to scale, I probably have to find a sponsor. So it's all kind of contingent on.
So let's imagine, right, you had all the money that you could want for these conferences. what are the ones you're prioritizing? Full context for this question is I've just transitioned into a new role, and much of that role is going to be me moving around, and I now suddenly, as a perk of that role, have conference budget. So I'm trying to play into those conferences and put in some calls for papers. Scale is
scale. Also, I think all things open. I mean, Wes, you must have some on your mind.
Well, it kind of depends on what you want, like, are you trying to do Linux-y general open source? Are you trying to do specific, like, smaller communities, cloud stuff, Kubernetes stuff, specific, like Python community or Go, like whatever might depend, because sometimes some of the most valuable ones are kind of some of the more niche ones, depending on if you're trying to like really get into that and build in that area, or if you want to just use it as like general open source networking, you might choose different conferences.
Good answer.
Good question. So
Scale's nice for that just because there are so many sub conferences, I suppose.
Yeah, and it is a good networking event too, at least in the Linux space. But Wes makes a good point. Like, there might be like a closure conference that Wes would be interested in that would be a lot more niche, but probably pretty high signal.
Yeah, Scale was fun. I got to go this year, but Texas Linux Fest definitely took the cake in terms of desired outcome. The signal to noise ratio there was a lot higher, and the people were. The community aspect there was also more enjoyable, at least from my experience. From what I gather, All Things Open seems to be very similar in that respect. Alex from Self-Hosted and I were talking about this just earlier this morning. And so that's definitely on the list. Texas Linux Fest, absolutely. I've yet to be to Linux Fest Northwest, but maybe that needs to be on the list in place of Scale if I had to choose between the two.
So I think what you've touched on there is something to reflect on, is what made Texas Linux Fest high signal. And the reason why we go is because we also agree it's a high signal event. The thing that's funny about it is if you were to look at Texas Linux Fest on like a spec sheet, it was off for a couple of years, it's back on now, it's kind of got, the attendance is kind of down. Like, there's these things about it that are on a pros and cons spec list, doesn't make it look that good. But what turns out is when you've got a conference of 400 to 500 people or 300 people, and I think especially when there's an organizing force, so there's like communities, sub-communities getting together, like a Postgres community, the JB community, and that, amongst a small crowd already, it makes the networking friction a lot lower. So when you go to a really large event, you have to kind of apply that sort of model in a way to try to find like the niche groups. Like, so at All Things Open, it's very large now. So you'd have to try to find like the niche communities in there that would lower the social friction. I think Linux Fest, it's between, depending on the year, 1,000 to 3,000 at the most. It used to be up to 5, but since COVID, it hasn't really come back to that.
So it's even larger than Texas Linux Fest.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely larger than Texas Linux Fest.
Interesting. Some of the presenters at Texas Linux Fest really blew me away. Some of the authors of SE Linux, and then the hallway track was real popping over there. Yeah. What's the conference that's, it's Self. I just reminded myself, Self.
Yeah, I've never been to Self, but it's, it could be a really high signal one just because it's another one of those sort of smaller, more focused events. And the other thing you'll get is you're gonna draw in more people in that sector. So like in Austin, you have people that are working in that stuff in that area, so they'll go to that conference. Same here in the Pacific Northwest, same itself. Like the people that, so you in different industries with, using Linux in different ways. It's kind of, it's so the location plays a role in sort of, not all of who submits a talk, but a portion of the people that submit a talk, a higher portion are going to be locals. Which is...
Yeah, what's the local flavor? That is an interesting factor.
And what tech sector is down there and stuff like that. And that makes it interesting.
Yeah, what companies and...
All right, should we get started? We should get started.
I think we should.
We should get started.
Yeah, we got a whole pre-show.
Yeah.
We got still hear...
we have one enjoying queue. Or headphone.
Okay. All right, I will be in restricted casting, but we'll come back. We still have some pops, but we're going to roll with the live pops because it doesn't sound like they're in his recorded. So I think we'll be okay.
All right.
Audio Eagle just confirmed. I don't know if you... Yeah, we got an Audio Eagle. I don't know. I don't want to say the word thousands because that seems impossible to me. Hundreds? mid-hundreds of birds on the lake. So this lake is filled in now by the farm, which I've never seen during the summer. And now I understand why it's a wildlife preserve, because it's like this lake in the middle of all this industrialization and stuff. So like the birds,
You're bird central.
it's a cacophony nonstop. You could if you didn't like it, you'd be driven crazy by it because it never stops. If I get up to take a leak at 4 a.m., I can hear them. I mean, it's nonstop right now. And then when you look out there, it's just a sea of white because it's like a lot of big those white big birds, swans or whatever, and then a bunch of ducks. And it's, oh my gosh, they're just going all the time. And they've all left the pond. The pond is like, who cares about the pond? The pond's stupid. Now they're all over at the lake. Whatever. It's fine. I don't care anyways.
Are you jealous?
Well, I miss them. You know, it was nice having a view out my front window of the bird action. And then the lake comes in, and that pond that we provided is just chopped liver, apparently. Although you'd think they'd love chopped liver, so I don't know.
Maybe that's the problem. You're not putting out enough chopped liver.
That could be it. You might be onto something. All right,
It's like
boys.
I don't think you provided any. I mean, unless Levi's been getting them.
You got me. You know, I don't know if I queued up. I think I have music to queue up. I got to queue that up. Bee-ba-dee-boo-boo. I got a lot of songs on the soundboard about Brent. That's what I got.
I'm excited about this.
Well, no, this one isn't. I'm just saying.
Oh, you
In
have to,
general.
filter through.
Yeah,
the
like it's
Brent
like
board.
yeah.
Okay. Mhm.
At some point, like I got to do a Brent purge. You know, you got to purge. Okay. Now we're actually ready. Stand by, boys.
I think that's what his countrymen call it when he visits us for a while.
Savage.
Screw you, I think.
Stand by, gentlemen. Hello, members. Welcome into episode 640 of the Unplugged Bootleg. It is Config Confessions 2, the sequel. The summer blockbuster that we all loved is back to rock your fall with Config Confessions 2, the Linting. Hello, boys.
Good
What'd you
morning. Time appropriate configs, everybody.
Wes is remote for some doggy maintenance, and Brent is remote because he's always remote these days.
We didn't know where he was. He surprised us with. It turns out there's snow there.
He's in a van. He's in the van. We know that, and we know he's in snow. And I also know because of a picture provided to me that there's an IKEA, so you could go get some IKEA furniture afterwards.
I have not had a hot
meatballs.
dog.
Come on, he's getting the meatballs.
See, at Zoom, look there was the snow. Look at that snow. Look at that. Oh my goodness, Brent. What are you doing? What are you doing?
This was not the plan. You're
supposed to go where it's warmer. Where it's warmer, Brent, not where it's colder.
This actually is. I'm like, I don't know, a couple 100 miles south of like my parents' place. So I'm basically in Toronto, and it's supposed to be warmer here, and it is, but it's still snowing, and the van has never seen snow before today, from what I know, and I'm actually kind of sad. It's like, I feel bad for it, you know? It is made in Canada, but...
Yeah, but it was sold in Arizona and lived its life in California, so it's a bit of a shock.
Yeah, there were certain promises made to the van that I don't think you're keeping.
They weren't fulfilled. Oof, sorry. I mean, the taking it back to Canada pilgrimage had some risks, and I think snow was one of them.
Well, we've all had interesting weekends. I know Wes had an interesting weekend with some doggo care.
Yeah, that's right. My little pup Jar there had some surgery to remove a tumor, but she's doing great. Thankfully, napping right on the couch over there.
Aw,
That's good.
that's amazing.
That's almost like
Good to hear.
a pup-size amount of weight she must have just gotten removed. Like,
Yeah, it was like it was almost 2 pounds.
Really? Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. That is...
Yeah, I got to see it, so that was both gross and cool.
Oh, did you
Kind of
take
like a brain.
Really?
No, I should have. I was like internalizing, all the data dump from the vet. So sadly, I did not take a picture.
It's not where your head's at. Yeah, yeah.
No.
Whew. Okay.
Jeez. Did you say brains? Wow.
We had a friend fly in, so there's been like that whole coordination. But then, at the same time, I'm trying to sell my car, which has been a hard decision to make, but I've decided.
Wait, I thought it was cars.
Wow.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. Yeah, just not at the same time. I've decided I'm going to get rid of the GTI and the Volvo, just for separate reasons. The Volvo is getting old, and the GTI at 80,000 needs about $4,500 of work, and then about $800 of tires, and that's just the work they've identified. But I also can hear one of the pulleys is starting to scrape in the morning when I start the car. I'm hearing like a scraping, whirling sound that I've never heard from the car before. So it's just getting to the point at 80,000, unfortunately, even though I've taken meticulous care of it. However, because I've taken meticulous care of it, I mean, the thing is in pretty good shape, except for the immediate thing is tires, right? You could replace the tires and you could still drive it for another 6 months, probably before you address some of the other stuff. I don't know about the belt thing. But I can also turn around right now at 81,000, I can get like 15K for it still. So that's like, whoa, that'd be great. If, because I think I paid like 35 for the car or something like that, because I had a trade-in. I traded in my truck. So that's pretty good for driving it since 2018 to still be able to get 15K, because most of them are, I guess, over 90,000. And at 90,000, they really have a reputation for starting to kind of fall apart. So if you can get them at 80, 81, the market will pay a premium for that. And if the body's in excellent condition and it's never been in an accident, it's like an in-demand car. So it's stupid to get sad about it, but I am sad about it, because I really like that car.
That really
And we
surprises
just
me.
spent so much time in it.
I know. I'm glad we
did.
took it on that trip to Texas, because that's I thought I'd be doing all the time.
You drive the Vibe around now? Or?
Yeah, definitely. Well, so now I'm like,
Oh, perfect. We can drag race my Matrix and the Vibe.
Yes.
Hey, why didn't you offer that when I was driving it?
I mean, the Vibe.
Well, you're going to take too good a care of it.
The Vibe has had quite a bit of weight reduction, so it may have a leg up. Also, I think the exhaust is rotted away, so it may have superior airflow. I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually quite true. Just get a CO monitor, I think.
If it doesn't fall apart, it'll win.
I just, like the way the timing works out, right? So a friend's flying in, and while they're in, they need to borrow one of the cars. So like all of it, right? So of course I'm doing it the worst time possible, but it's because this car needs work right now. So it's like, if I got to, this is the time. Oh my gosh. Total chaos. Not nearly as much chaos as you boys, but like one of these weekends where I'm glad we figured out what the show was, because. Whew.
Should we go on a trip again? It seems easier than our normal lives.
It does, doesn't it? We're all right. So we should get started. We are a little low on boost this week. So if you're listening live and want to boost in, we'd appreciate it. And we'll be getting into config. So there could be a lot to respond to in the show or in the pre-show. And why don't we start with a little bit of news? With open printing. Printing still matters. And the longtime lead of open printing has announced that after being laid off by Canonical back in May, that he has gotten support from the Sovereign Tech Agency, which is out of Germany, that supports a lot of open source projects. And he'll be able to work on the open printing organization full time for a while. So he's hoping that down the road, he may see this get wrapped up into the Linux Foundation. And the reason why he would want that is then it would make it, I guess, more accessible to different types of donations, funding, and things like that. But I think the reason why I wanted to talk about this is just sort of how precarious Linux printing has been. It's like it seemed like we had such a strong thing going with Apple for a while, and then a few years back, that went sideways. Then it seemed like we had a good thing going because Till was employed by Canonical, and he had been for 20 years, so it seemed like a pretty solid lock. And then he got laid off there, and it was like, sort of touch and go. And thankfully, with a lot of community help and outreach, he was put in touch with the Sovereign Tech Agency. He submitted them a proposal. Here's an outline of what I want to do, kind of a thing. He says they approved it within weeks, and they're funding his open printing work through 2026 now. It's good. I know it's not something we talk a lot about.
You don't like to see it in one sense, but you like to see it in another sense, especially for printing. Just because, it is used, but it kind of depends. It's become one of those technologies where, like, in some sense, everyone needs it, but the amount and frequency that you need it really depends on what you do. So, I don't know. Part of me thinks you could totally see a certain subset of the most tech-focused organizations kind of being done with printing or having outsourced it. So, like, they don't really care.
Right.
They might care about OpenSSL, but they don't really care about printing. So good to see there's enough folks, and just more props to the sovereign tech stuff, right? Like, we need more orgs like that funding exactly this kind of stuff.
Well, Brent, isn't that just it? This is really good news, but it's like we're dependent on these critical infrastructure pieces that everyday users just expect, printing, on the generosity of these funds. And there's only so many of these funds, and there's only so many things they can support. Does that register as a worry for you?
Well, the question becomes which of the essential parts of our everyday Linux are not being supported, right? It's that classic sort of XKCD image of the super fragile, thing holding up the whole stack.
The tiny piece of equipment. Yes, the little infrastructure equipment.
In this story, this week it's printing, and next week it's a different piece, right? And it's surprising because that image only shows one little fragile piece that can fall down, but it's surprising how many of these pieces exist, right? It seems like every couple of weeks or months we see, oh yeah, this other seemingly essential part of the Linux stack is in jeopardy, and someone has to come and save it. And the question becomes, how often is that going to happen? Like, right. We've been lucky it's been happening quite a bit, but at some point, yeah, there might be limitations. So,
you think it's not a concern, Wes? Do you think it is? My point here really is that it almost feels like we're getting lucky. In a way, like we're getting lucky that there's people with deep enough pockets and generosity, and then they find out about it and they step in and they support for maybe a year, 2 years, something like that. But it's not guaranteed after that. Not all projects get that exposure, but it does seem to kind of work out long term. I don't know. Maybe am I over analyzing?
I don't know if you can call it working out long term.
Okay.
It's a best effort, right? Like, people are willing to step in, but probably because they see potential downstream ramifications, or we hit some of those ramifications when you have a major vulnerability, and then projects get an uptick in funding. Some projects are maybe doing better, right? We've seen some of the success from like Plasma's more recent fundraising attempts, but there's a long tail of, less visible projects out there. The more plumbing and infra you are, kind of the harder it is you're going to find if you don't have someone to step up to fund you. We don't have this solved for like every example. We have it maybe kind of sort of solved for select things, I think. And open printing up until now, I guess, kind of wasn't one. And maybe still isn't.
BJ points out in the Matrix chat, maybe the printer manufacturers could chip in. And, I'm not a big foundation guy. It seems like we have a lot of foundations these days. However, if being part of the Linux Foundation means that HP and Epson and others could step in and contribute money towards printing on Linux, it seems like it would be worth it for them, and probably not for all their models, but I'm sure some of their models get a lot of use on Linux, maybe in industrial use or in offices. And maybe they can't, as a corporation. I know this sounds weird, but I'll really quickly retread the story I've told 1,000 times, which is, when we were purchased by Linux Academy, we set aside money to donate to free software projects. And I just couldn't even tell you how hard it was to give these projects money. I don't need to go on about it, but it's like I was asking them a favor. And then the ones that did want a contribution, like they wouldn't use the systems that were available in the U.S. because they were U.S. systems and they were not. And the whole thing was just remarkably difficult. And so I could understand how maybe when you have a business that wants to do things the way businesses do them, and you have an organization that interfaces with them, that might be necessary. I don't know. And maybe if such a structure did exist through the Linux Foundation, these larger businesses could get more involved. I'm really looking for a silver lining there, I guess, but that'd be my take.
That has been the promise of a lot of these funds and foundations, right? So if they're not accomplishing that goal, then what are they doing? Because they need to be the ones making this easier. Just like give them money, they distribute it to all the projects they've deemed are essential. That would that's maybe too good to be true.
Okay, we got a new, maybe don't call it a distro to check out. It's Debian based, and it's got an interesting history. It's called Incus OS, and it was originally a fork of LXD. It's an immutable Linux operating system, purpose-built for running containers with Incus. Announced by its lead developer, Incus OS is based on Debian 13 and utilizes ZFS along with Zabbie builds. The Linux kernel, of course, it employs an atomic AB update style, supports UEFI secure boot, TPM 2.0, et cetera, et cetera. Systemd tools for automations and updates, managed entirely via the API.
Yeah, think of this as sort of like LXD, then Incus, the fork of LXD, right? It provides a lot of stuff. So it started as kind of like the future version of LXC Linux containers, which was sort of a Docker alternative that you still used as Proxmox. So you can kind of think of Incus OS as almost even more of a Proxmoxification, I think, right? So it's taking Incus, which is like an API and a daemon and a system for running VMs and containers on Linux, and it's packaging it with everything you need to deploy it as a like an actual appliance. So much so that, yeah, you don't even get remote shell access. You pretty much just ship the image. It uses a bunch of that stuff we saw KDE exploring from Systemd, like Systemd make OSI and the system extension stuff for layering in software. But the intention is, as long as it does its job to get you a running Incus server, then Incus itself provides everything you need to actually manage it.
So how long would it take to get, say, like Plasma working on this thing, you think?
Well, you could probably boot yourself a VM running Plasma.
No. You know, because an immutable, atomically updated Debian-based OS that has support for secure boot and TPM2 and uses Systemd for all of the automatic updates. Where's that desktop? I mean, yeah, okay, fine, it's a great server, but like, where's that? That's a desktop, friends. Hello.
Are you gonna fork it? What desktop you putting on there?
I mean, I don't know, probably Plasma. You know, I mean, I would do Hyperland, but I think the people are ready for the Plasma. It's Plasma 6.5 is so good. It's so good. Okay, so there you go. New OS for you to go try out, everybody. You're welcome.
Yeah, it might just be, I mean, even if you don't try it, I'm kind of curious to see like how their automation looks like and their setup and what they're using to just like to build all these images and actually get it all deployed.
Yeah, that's true. We should poke around.
You are starting to see some patterns here. And the Systemd, it's interesting to watch some of that Systemd, the tooling they've been laying out there in the groundwork for years, slowly actually being used to form real operating systems.
I see Brent is deploying another blanket over there. Getting warmed up.
Yeah, my ankles are cold. It starts there and it moves up.
I think it's notable, too, that, you know, this is Debian 13 with ZFS built in. So you get your Debian. Again, I'm just saying, give me a shell. Let's go. Screw this API stuff. Give me a shell. Okay. Next story is LibreChat involved. Remember LibreChat? Remember that? Anyways, it's been bought by ClickHouse now. I'm not sure if I like this.
Wow.
It's a platform.
That's surprising.
I know. And so ClickHouse is the, quote, leading open source AI chat platform that provides a unified interface for interfacing with multiple large language models. The LibreChat team are joining ClickHouse, making LibreChat a cornerstone of ClickHouse's new agentic data stack, a vision that merges LibreChat's agent framework and user experience with ClickHouse's large-scale analytical engine. This integration enables agentic analytics where users and AI agents can query massive data sets directly and conversationally. So, I don't know, maybe they're working on some sort of industrial scale bot that comes into an IRC room?
Yeah, I lost you halfway through reading all that.
I think that's what they're doing. Like,
I mean, I think really the thing here, right, is like, how do you remain relevant? We have ClickHouse. It's a database. Oh yeah, here's a nice UI for using agents to look at the data that you already store with us. And don't you want to pay us for an enterprise plan?
I think that is it. I think that's the. They say Shopify is using it. They say with LibreChat internally, over 30 connected servers enable employees to create AI agents that boost productivity and information access. And they list a couple other companies I've never heard of before. Actually, Daimler Truck is using LibreChat for secure internal AI access across the enterprise, they say. They say their motivation for purchasing this is the agentic data stack. But LibreChat will remain fully open source under the MIT license, they assure us, with a community-first roadmap and tighter integrations into ClickHouse Cloud, including virtualization support, OAuth security, and semantic context
I assume
features.
that the tight integration into the cloud was like first on the community roadmap, right? That's usually how it works.
For sure, dude. Yeah. Well, and I've been like, how come my IRC doesn't have virtualization support? Like,
Yeah.
I've got a Samba server in my Linux kernel. Why don't I have virtualization in my IRC? I mean, make it make sense. So I guess are they trying to make IRC have like more modern?
Oh, you think? Oh, so it's not LibreChat, it's LibreChat.
Yeah. Is that different?
Which is yes.
What's the
that is
difference?
like that's like Open Web UI. It's like a LLM chat interface.
Oh,
They're running out of names for all these things.
So this is different than the other thing.
Yeah.
There's also named LibreChat, but it's pronounced
It's
Libre.
actually,
I don't know.
I think
dude.
they're pointing at LibreChat.ai,
Okay,
which
all right.
clears things up a little bit.
I'm like spinning on this, dude. I'll tell you what, because I look at this and I go, what?
I like the idea that it's IRC though. That's great.
Me too, in a way. Like you think about it, I mean, it's horrible. And then also, like, what if this company came along and tried to make IRC cool again with like semantic search and like LLM bots and integrations?
Well, LLMs are great with text. IRC is just text.
Like, make IRC Slack again. Could be their slogan, right? Make IRC Slack again. Okay, well, thankfully, this is why I had to talk it out with you guys, because I was on the cliff there with that. So I don't have to worry about, okay, what is the chat that I care a lot about? Libera chat? So how is that pronounced, spelled different? Is it Libra?
Yeah, Libera.
That doesn't come up.
There you go.
Okay, so when I search for, okay, what is it?
ERA. Libera chat.
Oh, I missed the E. So if you,
it's your Era's tour as a library.
Well, also if you notice, if you take out the E, you get a lot of different stuff, including this other thing, this AI thing. Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm glad because I didn't want two negative stories back to back, and this next one, it's like when
is it somehow also IRC based? Is that what you think?
No.
Oh my God, this drawer is filled with Fruit Loops.
So we were speculating, I think just last week, that maybe the hardware OEM that Graphene OS was working with was Fairphone. Could be Fairphone, right? I don't think so.
For the record, I speculated it was purism.
Damn it, Wes. So this speculation came up on X, and the Graphene OS project decided to respond to the speculation. And they don't necessarily deny that Fairphone is a vendor. However, I'm getting that vibe from this response. They say, quote, "These devices have poor privacy, security, and updates. They're far from meeting our official requirements. Fairphone's partnership with Marina is incompatible with working with us due to how they're scamming people. For more info, go see our discourse," where they have quite the lengthy post. I mean, very lengthy, detailed post about why they don't like the Fairphone, they don't like this OS arrangement, and they don't like any of it. So I don't think it's Fairphone. They're not coming out quite saying that, but they basically have 10 pages here saying it's not Fairphone. That's the vibe I'm getting, boys.
It's just a fake, Chris.
All right.
Who's that?
Lead on, everybody.
The big thing they keep coming back to is the secure element. They need a very particular secure element. They don't like that Fairphone OS and EOS are months behind on Android and Chromium updates, because Chromium update's a big thing for them. They also don't like that EOS, a voice to text, sends speech to OpenAI servers. lacks a local option. They say, in their opinion, Graphene OS or an iPhone would be a better security and privacy solution than the Fairphone 6 with EOS. That's their take.
So to rehash our options from last week, the question becomes which
Right. Who's left
phone
now?
is the most up to date and like has an eye on security, and that maybe changes the list of options, doesn't it? And is a major manufacturer. Major? Was that the word?
That's what they said. But I don't think any of them, I could be wrong, but I don't think any of them have the secure enclave like the Pixel. So then it would have to be a new device.
That was my speculation, that like they would work with a manufacturer to come up with some of these hardware improvements. That would be the best case scenario, I think.
Yeah. The mystery goes on, boys. The mystery goes on.
Stay tuned next week when we get more fluff.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Let's go. Not buying an iPhone. Come on.
You can do it, Wes. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, I got a little sick in my stomach on this next one. Here we go. Simplex, the chat program that I think could be a potential Telegram replacement. Oh, actually, I'm getting a little sick to my stomach talking about this. I don't like this. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but now that I'm getting this reaction in my stomach, I guess I know. Simplex has announced community vouchers. They say we're developing community vouchers as a way to enable secure payments to server operators to make the community more sustainable. A group or channel owner can select a network operator for better reliability and censorship resistance than with the traditional online publishing methods. These vouchers are a blockchain utility token to focus purely on the server capacity usage, like prepaid telephone cards. What these tokens are not are community vouchers and are not tradable tokens. They are not a giveaway to raise funds. What they are is a mechanism to pay for servers privately. Our goal is to make it possible to buy community vouchers via usual credit card and in-app payments so that everyday people can use them, not only people who use cryptocurrencies. So looking at SMPX, a community voucher token that runs on top of Ethereum. It's an ERC20 token. There are other ones they're looking at, but yeah.
Not reinventing the wheel there, at least, I suppose.
Yeah. So the idea
is you can buy these tokens from them. That means that they can provide like a standardized fiat bridge, and then you have something you can allocate towards people that help run the chats that you want to be a part of. Is the steel man of this?
They say
right? And then in theory, those people can like swap back.
They say who will sell the vouchers? They say initially community vouchers will be sold via smart contracts in exchange for some other tradable tokens, most likely stable coins. They do clarify later also probably Bitcoin. We won't have access to the funds from voucher sales. They will be locked in a smart contract, and they will only be released once our servers have provided capacity to the users, with funds shared between the server operator and the Simplex network, with operators receiving up to 60% depending on the trust evaluation. The Simplex network funds will be managed by a smart contract, or smart contracts, and will be used for governance and development as defined by these contracts. The price will be fixed based on the server costs, with the exact economic model developed during the testing phase. Now, I think it's important to understand the way these smart contracts work. With this type of smart contract they're using, once it's set, it cannot be adjusted. So if they screw this up, they essentially have to just start over. They say, why build on Ethereum? What made us decide that an EVM-based blockchain is the best choice? EVM is like the Ethereum virtual machine. It's what these smart contracts run in. This is the best choice for current stage in the planned rollout of the ZK EVM in 2025 with native support for zero-knowledge proof. So they like the zero-knowledge proof stuff. They say existing cryptocurrencies such as XMR, Bitcoin, and some others will be accepted as payment. Here's the thing that I don't like about this. And I don't know, maybe this is a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. I think the mental model, and this is my opinion, could be totally wrong, but I think the mental model to look at Ethereum is a fintech technology platform. It's it could get really popular for tokenizing assets that you're going to hear all about in the future. That's going to drive you crazy. But it's run by institutions because the way Ethereum works is it's a proof of stake network. And the people that have the largest stake in the network are the creators of Ethereum and now the banks and Tom Lee. So they are essentially the operators of the network, and the infrastructure runs on AWS and Azure for the most part. And I'm not saying this is necessarily criticism. I'm pointing out that it's sort of a corporate structure. It's a corporate blockchain, and it's a censorable blockchain. And I don't know if that's the right way for SimpleX, but and then the other problem, and this will just be, you'll have to work this out, is if Ethereum gets a little busy, the gas fees are binoculars. I mean, they're really binoculars. So that's something else people, they might not want to have to deal with. It's essentially an NFT is what we're talking about here. They're not using the word NFT. And when I first heard the idea of NFTs, this is sort of the kind of thing I pictured is, funding open source community infrastructure and things like that and providing guaranteed access without a middleman or a corporation. However, that was a few years ago. And now having watched this stuff, they tend, especially on the Ethereum, I could be wrong, Wes, if you know, but I believe it's essentially EVM is a JavaScript system. And you often find issues in these smart contracts. I mean, when you hear about like $800 million crypto exploit or a $1 billion crypto stolen, it's almost always, universally, when you're talking large amounts like that, unless it's like an FTX type, or that wasn't a hack. I mean, you really don't have hacks. What you have are these smart contracts get exploited because they're software and they're locked and they're immutable. So you have to get it right. And if you don't get it right, somebody can find an exploit, and they do, and they can drain the funds. Now, they're going to go through what they say is an extensive testing phase to try to prevent this from happening. So there's that. They say, what problems do community vouchers solve that other payment methods can't? They say community vouchers implemented via smart contracts on blockchain solve these problems. Unlinkability of vouchers purchased and used to confirm ownership of smart contracts will use zero-knowledge proofs rather than visible transfers between blockchain addresses. While any blockchain observers may see that a given address has purchased a voucher, they will not see how that voucher is used. Server operators cannot fail to provide infrastructure. The funds will be locked in a smart contract until service is provided. It codifies the agreement about how revenue is shared between the server operator and the network, so that it depends not on trust, but cryptography.
I can certainly see the appeal. It does feel like a pretty big distraction from sort of the core mission, So that would be the main thing that sort of worries me, is just like, okay, well, this is a lot of stuff that, like, as you're saying, to get right, you kind of probably want to be an expert and experienced in this domain in the first place if you're going to do that. And then so it's like just sort of, maybe they are. I don't know the details of the developers or any of that, but it's just a lot to also take on to do originally yourself while trying to develop what has been a very innovative and interesting app.
Yeah, I think part of my skepticism comes in, man, we've seen a lot of utility tokens, right? We've seen them for file storage. We've seen them I think IPFS even has one if you don't use Lightning. And they never really seem to work out. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I understand what you want to be able to buy something that you can then swap for these services without tracing. But that seems like it's got to be a generic enough thing that other people want, right? Like that you do not need your own version of that. Maybe it doesn't exist yet. Maybe that's the reason. But
yeah, and also if, like buying stablecoins is a traceable. So okay, so here's my. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a moment. I'm going to try to play devil's advocate.
Wait, is that pro or anti?
I'm pro. I'm going to pro. I'm going to steel man it for a second. So
yeah, put me in some Simplex NFT, baby.
The Genius Act in the United States has passed legalizing stablecoins, and it's logical to assume that stablecoin usage will increase over the next few years. So it's not as out there as it once was to maybe fund something via stablecoins. I think it's going to be pretty easy to get stablecoins. So there's that. You're also going to have Goldman Sachs, and you're going to have JP Morgan, and you're going to have BlackRock, and you're going to have all of the big brands promoting real world assets. And at least some of them are going to be stupid enough to try it on Ethereum. So, if you take that out 5 years, perhaps that changes public perception on these technologies. And if you're getting started on something like this, it's probably a multi-year process. So if you're skating to maybe where the puck is going, although I'm not convinced it is, but this is me trying to steel man it here. Maybe it makes sense in a way that it wouldn't have made sense 2 years ago, or maybe even a year and a half ago. Maybe. But I
think it kind of depends on the domain, right? Like, how much do people actually need to do this, and are they actually going to do it? Like, I think you're right. Like, okay, stablecoin's great. All that kind of has to be easy for this to work. But even if that all goes well, right, you still have to have people who are willing to do the whole thing to transfer stablecoins to go get this token to then actually go fund.
And where's this? That's the other thing is like, I don't know if it's DeFi or what, but like you got to have MetaMask. And I don't know. I don't really have any experience with MetaMask, but I know that people have to be careful.
It's not great, but it's fine.
Right. I've heard a lot of stories of people getting, exploited, but I would imagine it's just like anything in your browser. You just need to be a little extra careful. It's a browser extension, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very heavyweight browser extension.
So you would only want to keep a balance in there that you'd be okay with somebody stealing, or what you're going to use immediately, I would think, right? You wouldn't want to keep a lot of money in there. So
yeah, and exactly that kind of thing, right? Where, so it's running, and then pages can talk to it. So like a lot of stuff, right? So if you want to go pay like a Coinbase thing on Base, it'll automatically find your MetaMask and talk to it and pull it up and query your available balance and ask you if you want to spend and all that kind of stuff.
So this kind of, okay, so this again, and then we'll move off this because I know not everybody cares. But it's interesting to see Simplex go this way. Not that Telegram doesn't have their Tron and their crap, but MetaMask is made by Consensus. Consensus is essentially the Ethereum Foundation, right? They are the insiders of Ethereum. They are the pre-miners. They're the bag holders. They're the ones that are selling constantly on all of the plebs that keep buying Ethereum. MetaMask is Ethereum. Consensus is Ethereum. And then Ethereum is ran by Consensus and Ethereum. And they set the roadmap. And then it's run by a hand. And then the proof of stake, the majority proof of stake is Coinbase and bankers. So like these things don't align with what they are trying to accomplish. Now, I don't know if they are massive misalignments, but they are misalignments with what they are trying to accomplish. And maybe support for something besides MetaMask can be figured out after.
I don't know if they are. I think you're coming in too much with the Bitcoin brain.
No, I mean, they are.
Which is normally
Consensus
good.
makes MetaMask.
Yeah, no, I know. I just mean, I think if the zero knowledge stuff works out, which I don't know anything about.
Oh, yeah,
right?
no, I'm not talking about
having
that part
having all that stuff works out really well because you get to ride on top of all of that.
Right.
And you're not sacrificing anything.
Yeah, I like that part. The part I don't like is like you're building it on railroads that are owned by big fat cats.
Yeah, but that's just true for 99% of everything.
Yeah, maybe it's better than AWS or...
Maybe not. I don't know. But
ironically, JP Morgan's a large investor in MetaMask too. I mean,
so
it just, again, I started this by saying, think of it as a fintech tech platform, right? And brand new. And if that's the context you're thinking, then all these things I just mentioned are fine. I just don't know if that's...
I guess that's really that's a better way to say what I was trying to say.
I just don't know if that aligns with the way Simplex is looking at it. When I read their FAQ, it doesn't sound like it, but you're right as far as the cryptographic part goes. But it's, you're doing sound cryptography on rails that are owned by fat cats. I don't know. There's other ways to do it. Not that, I guess there's not a lot of great ways because Solana's sort of the same story, etc. But I don't know. I don't know how else I would do it. So there's that at least. And it'll be
interesting to watch.
Yes.
I mean, does this actually enable people to host stuff for Simplex that needs hosting and sustainably?
Maybe. And,
that would be nice. We were just talking about that with open printing in a kind of different context, but it's the same problem.
Yeah. And I think it's fascinating because we care enough that we care what happens to it, but we don't use it all the time. So if it goes to hell, we're not going to be horribly affected. So we have a tiny bit of skin in the game from just we care a lot about this project, but
can we not inshitify every last thing?
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Okay, so just the last couple of bits before we start the show. Flatpak has seen some updates after a post that was sort of lamenting its stagnation. Sebastian Wick has announced the release of Flatpak 1.17.0, and it's the first in the Unstable series in 6 months. And there's some nice stuff in here. including a predefined systems can now predefine which Flatpak apps can be installed. I can't believe we didn't have that. Enhanced OCI container support.
I mean, I think a lot of people had written scripts. To
Yeah. New Flatpak builder release as well. Improved license compliance tools. I'm trying to read because I'm burying the lead. Rel 10 compatibility. Lib Flatpak documentation. Some good stuff in here. But here's the real lead. Wick and Adrian Vach are planning a new component called Systemd AppD. And it's announced along Flatpak 1.17. This proposed service will let users query running app instances, authenticate Flatpak sandboxes, and would pave the way for nested sandboxing, a major new feature for Flatpaks. The initiative also aims to streamline integration with Pipewire and remove reliance on dbus proxy, which is a bit of a mess. I've heard developers complain about that. Systemd AppD, boys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that is the exciting thing because it's just proposed. Yeah, it's just proposed, and like it's
I
not
love
any,
it.
like right now the like I don't think most people could go read the problems it's talking about unless you've done anything core in Flatpak or Snap, have any idea what
This is how I know you're not.
Whereas like, but think about the other stuff here, like all the OCI enhanced OCI support,
Yeah,
and what's pre-installed. Like, there's just a lot more.
I do like that one.
And that it was almost unmaintained, basically, and that Flatpak's back in maintenance.
Well, that's good, but I don't think you run a lot of Flatpaks. That's what I'm getting from this. You're not running a lot of Flatpaks.
That is true. I do not.
I'm picking up that sniff because I'll tell you what, having a better Pipewire support is always good, but having a system where the systemd can query what Flatpaks are running and all of that, that's going to be so great. That's good, and being able to transition away from some of the dbus stuff, super nice. New portals for app interaction because of this too. Open up new possibilities of integrating applications. That's going to be built on for years. Built on for years.
Yes, I agree. It's just so much at the like, hey, this is a thing that the devs make.
No, it's not a systemd thing. Yeah, it's a proposal that is awesome. I love it. Actually,
so you don't want an SMB server in the kernel, but you want systemd to have AppD. I'll get you.
I do. Oh, man. It is nice to see getting some love.
These like nested sandboxes at first sound good and useful and helpful and stuff, but it now kind of reminds me of how you have these like Docker orchestration, like this cascade of Docker containers that a project chooses, and then all of a sudden you have 12 Docker containers just to run a single thing. Is that the same thing that's going to happen here?
I mean, but what if you could ship Home Assistant as a Flatpak or something, right? Like, that'd be pretty cool, right?
All right, okay.
I don't know. What would you use nested sandboxing for, really? Would it be other OCI containers running inside? I don't know.
Yeah, well, like a lot of stuff too. I don't know what the actual, what led to that feature primarily, but there's so many other things that are just sandboxed or have sandboxing that maybe you can't easily remove or come with sandboxing.
That's compatibility, sure.
Right, browsers in particular. Like, there's just all kinds of stuff that try to do their own sandboxing these days. So part of it might be just making that more of a seamless and capable experience with whatever you're putting in Flatpak.
Yeah.
But maybe also the reverse, running Flatpak itself nested in other things. I don't know.
Huh. There you go, Brent. There you go. Think about it, okay? I want you to think about it.
All right.
Well, I'm just going to make a quick call to my launch. I haven't checked in since yesterday. 774-462-5667. That's it. All right. 774-462-5667. Call now.
Yeah, call the launch. I got the biggest, freshest, crispiest soapbox for Tuesday's episode. It's a big old serving of Chris was right. It's a big helping. Bring your big plates and your bibs, boys, because it was a big Chris is right meal.
Oh, I know what it is. It's gonna be good. Ooh, yeah.
Anyways, but we only got like a couple of calls last week, and if it wasn't for our regulars, we wouldn't have had any calls. And I said, "Come on, call the launch." I asked, and nobody called the launch. So call the launch. It's a good little show, and if you're not listening, that's your fault. Doesn't mean you shouldn't call it though.
I have an idea.
Yeah?
I think we take just a little intermission.
Yeah. I like this. I like where you're going.
And that gives people listening live right now a chance to leave their voicemail.
They could call during the intermish.
Uh-huh.
That is
Depends on how much they want to hear the, whatever Brent song you pick, but that's up to them. I can't make that choice for them.
Well, I think Brent should pick.
You're right. Ideally, we'd have some sort of snow-based song, but I don't think we're there yet seasonally.
They're going to have to be a lot faster.
Can we get a list of options, maybe?
Okay, here. You know what I'll do is I will round it down to just a couple of options for you, okay? All right. All right. So you've got Bang Bus is Real, Chris Loves Another Man's Van, Rat King
that's a good one.
Chris, and the Unplugged Break Blues, which is pretty old. Pretty old. All right, so again, Unplugged Break Blues, Rat King Chris Loves Another Man's Van, and Bang Bus is Real are in the vicinity. What will you pick, Brent? What will you pick?
I got a soft spot for Chris Loves Another Man's Van.
That is a good one. I agree. All right, so we'll take a quick intermish, and then we're back with the big show, and it's going to be a big one.
Chris found love, but it's complicated, man. Turns out he's in love with another man's van. Rescued from the brink, should've never worked at all. Fixed fuel leaks in Jeff's yard, praying it wouldn't stall. Yeah, Chris loves another man's van. Brought her back to life, now he's her biggest fan. Holding our breath each cop that we pass. They don't build them like they used to, and this van kicks ass. The 1,800 miles along the coast we cruised. Brent's heart fell deeper every turn he used. Chris felt the spark, he just couldn't resist. Old van charm, man, it shouldn't feel like this. Yeah, Chris loves another man's van. Brought her back to life, now he's her biggest fan. Holding our breath each cop that we pass. They don't build them like they used to, and this van kicks ass. Back in the studio after one hell of a ride, laughing how we made it, somehow we survived. Leaking fuel lines, fate held by a thread, but Chris fell harder with each mile ahead. We never knew if we'd make it, but somehow we did. Chris found his love in a van. Sorry, Brent, it's complicated.
Oh!
7, 4, 4, 6, 2, 5, 6, 6, 7. That number.
All right. That concludes our intermish. We're back-ish. We're intermish back-ish. You got a snack right there, don't you? You don't have to go anywhere.
I've set myself up so well. Within arm's reach, I have 1, 2, 3, 4,
Nice. That's nice.
5 snacks, 3 drinks.
Are the
I
boys?
didn't even move during intermesh, which is very unusual.
Are the boys with you?
No.
I was gonna say usually by
That'd be
now
sweet.
I'd see some cat butt or something.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
You typically like that.
I do like to check in on the boys, see how they're doing. Very involved in my friend's
a couple
pet life.
of times. That's sweet of you. A couple of times I walked up to the van. I was like, "Oh, the boy! Oh, there's no cute
Yeah.
things in there." It's
Yeah.
very sad.
Yeah.
We built a lot of memories in here in the last month or two.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably wondering why you didn't get to take them with you. They want to go.
Yeah, that's true. I feel bad now. Thanks. How's that Levi doing?
He's doing good. He's
Yeah.
9 now. He turned 9 in October.
Whoa,
Mm-hmm.
that's bonkers. Did you celebrate his birthday?
We do a little bit on Halloween. We give him lots of pumpkin. As we carve the pumpkins, he gets the
Seems
bits.
appropriate.
He loves it. He loves it. He loves it. The dog loves the pumpkin bits. The cats? You ever try that with cats?
I have given pumpkin to the cats before, mostly because to try to solve a compacted stool issue, because fiber, that pumpkin's got a lot of fiber.
Brent.
What, are we not allowed to say that on the show? Sorry.
It's TMI. Could have just said yeah.
Anyways. Oh, I'm sorry.
They like
Too much context? I'm a context guy. You got to tell me, turn down the context if you want.
Too much, Brendan.
Anyways, it didn't
fiber
work.
guy. Big fiber guy.
Big fiber. Yeah.
High
big
performance thought simulator.
Oh, man, that's an inside joke.
Why do I like it? I just like it so much. I like it so much. Okay, chat room. If you're watching on the tubes or on the the Twitch or the X, hello. Thank you for joining us. You'd be totally welcome. Hey, 503 from the Pacific Northwest. You'd be totally welcome to join us in our Matrix chat where you can bang suggest as we go along, if I can find the button there. And we would love some title suggestions. I'm going to throw mine in. Is it too early to throw mine in?
A big, juicy van.
Sometimes, the really early ones don't make it in, right? Is that a thing sometimes, or I don't know. I'm going to
Well, you could test it. You could be the first test.
I'm going to risk it for the
There's
biscuit.
only one way to find out. Yeah.
Mine's an obvious one, although it doesn't really make sense. I'm going for it. A big frosty van. Okay, there we go. So bang suggest as we go along if you're in that chat room, and we'll title vote at the end. And whoever wins goes on to the next round. What?
Okay, I put a title too, just to make you feel better.
What? Oh, let's see if it comes up. I see how it is.
Yeah, it looks like it's working. All right.
Great.
Vote for my title, everyone. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. It's LUP time in a 3. Oh, I guess we should record, huh? That'd probably be a good idea.
Oh, yeah, that thing that we do sometimes.
Yeah, we definitely want to do that.
Do we want to do that?
Drew
Okay.
gets so mad.
He does get so mad. All right, boys. Are you ready to record then?
I get so mad.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Standing by.
Here we go in a 3, 2, 1, record. All right. Hello, Drew.
Hello, Drewski.
Hey, Drew.
Drew-ba-doo-ba-doo.
How do you do? Drew, we will have different segment music and outro music. We'll have the same intro music that we always do, but the other music will be replaced this episode. And they're on the horse for you, sir, including the ad bumps and whatnot. Okay, boys, here we go. Standbys, it's showtime. In a 3s, in a 2s. Hello, friends, and welcome back to your weekly Linux talk show. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
And my name is Brent.
Hello, gentlemen. Coming up on the show today, it's the sequel to the summer blockbuster, Config Confessions. We'll dive into your configs, call out the genius moves, the blunders, and everything in between. And then we'll round it out with some shout-outs, some picks, and a lot more. There's so much to get into. Lots of cool configs. So before we do all of that, let's say time-appropriate greetings to our virtual lug. Hello, Mumble Room. Mumble Room? Are you? Oh, I'm in restrict. Hold on. Let me do that again. I'll do it the right way. Hold on. Stand by. Hold on!
If you don't get this right, you're going to scare him off.
All right. Drew will fix it. All right, here we go. Time appropriate greetings to our virtual lug. Hello, Mumble Room.
Hello. Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for joining us. That is a Rockin' Mumble Room, and hello up there to the quiet listening too. And a big good morning to our friends at defined.net/unplugged. Go meet Manage Nebula from Defined Networking. It's a decentralized VPN built on the Nebula platform. This is a project that we love. We've been following it from the very early days. It's optimized for speed, simplicity, and if you want self-hosting. It's great for a home lab. It's also great for an enterprise. It started in 2017, right there in the thick of it, to connect all of Slack's global infrastructure. You can imagine the back end Slack must have. Wow. And they needed a way to securely connect all the global infrastructure, and Nebula was engineered for scale and performance from day one. But the thing that I have really learned to appreciate as I've built out and used all of these different types of mesh and decentralized VPNs, including standard VPNs like WireGuard and way back in the day, OpenVPN and others, there's always a trade-off when it comes to hosted infrastructure, except with Nebula. Nebula lets you control the entire thing. They offer a managed platform, and you can go to a self-hosted platform, and you can use a managed platform. Everything. It's not like a thing that they're resisting. It's how the product was built. And when you are creating your infrastructure, you're building out your infrastructure, you want something to last for years, I think that really matters, even for an enterprise or a home lab. So they align with the way I think about things and the way I want my infrastructure to be built. You know, there's other ways you can do it, of course, but I really like the way they're building out both the company and the project and the product. So check it out at define.net/unplugged. Redefine your VPN experience, get it for 100 hosts, absolutely free, and support the show. And if you get to the point where it's like, okay, it's time to self-host, Nebula is killer. Nobody beats Nebula at that. The resiliency, the robustness, and I'm talking mobile device battery life, all that kind of stuff. Nobody beats Nebula. Check it out at defined.net/unplugged. And a big thank you to defined.net for sponsoring this here Unplugged program.
Config confessions. Step right in, tell us where it broke again.
All right, this time it's Config Confessions in space, the Linting. And we're back for another round. We asked you to send in your configs, and you've done it. And there's a nice batch this week. And if you want to catch the first version, it's episode 634. You can find that at linuxunplugged.com/634. So here we are. Now it's fall time, and we're back for round two. And I got to start with the hardest one, I think, to pronounce here. I'm going to give it a shot.
Wait. I think before we dive right into the first one, which impressive. I mean, shouldn't we all confess a little bit? Like how much have we looked at this stuff? Because, you know, people have been sending them in, and then you did the hard work to, like, you know, gather them all up and try to find them. Brent's been doing the hard work at driving. So I think there might be a little confessing around, like, are we looking at these for the first time? Do we, you know, let's just be transparent.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Some of us might be coming in cold, like in the snow, you might say, on this. I did have a chance. I went through, you know, I took in the flavor of it, of each one, sort of got in their headspace the best I could, and made some notes for us to chew through. So I think we're going to have a nice combination of clean, cold takes and fully immersed takes. How you feel? Does that work?
That's perfect. Yeah, I'm down with that.
And it's not all Nicks. We had some people send in their Ansible configs. We had a GUIX config sent in. We had some Mac systems sent in. So we have some interesting ones. And I'm going to say, do you think it's Yeachel? Yeachel is perhaps how you say their name. They say, please roast my NixOS config. It's an opinionated Hyperland-based config with the same design and productivity-based setup.
That's why it got first billing.
I see this now.
No, it was chronological.
Sure.
So I noticed that, first of all, it's you know, everybody has a bit of their own design style for their repo. And Yeachel here starts with a nice screenshot, of course, of FastFetch. You got to get the FastFetch screenshot in there. So that's a classic. And then he breaks it all down. The kernel's CachyOS has support for TPM, and Waybar is in there. You got SwaySync in there, Kitty, NeoVim. And then one of the things that I always like to see is a get started real quick. And even if it's just for yourself, for future you. And they have that right here, a get started real quick script and then a post installation, couple of tasks to run. So that was my initial impression is I like this screenshot, get started real quick approach. I think it's really good for restoring a system on the quick and things like that. And they're actively committing. They got 444 commits. And as just a couple of days ago, they were updating their flake.
Yeah, how are you missing that? 4 days ago was last updated, and there's 444 commit. What's going on with 4 here? I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
But, I mean, you called it out there, but CachyOS kernel,
yeah.
Are you picking up
I'm liking that? I'm liking that.
So if you go in and take a look at dots/nix/boot.nix, you'll see packages.linux packages testing commented out. Packages.linux packages zen, what we're both using, commented out. This is telling a story to me because what is left uncommented is Linux packages _CachyOS, which I did not realize was just an option that we could do.
Yeah.
So I think we have to try that.
I do like that. Programs.nix is an interesting file. I think he's turning on some app images. I see Zoom. And KDE Connect, I'm not quite sure. What really threw me for a loop, and I kind of wanted to get your eyes on this one, was, let's see, I made a note in our notes here. Yeah, okay. I think he's installing PinchFlat on his desktop system, if I'm understanding this correctly, because in this config he's also defining like his power management, his system DNS, and all of like the keyboard layout stuff. Turning on Pipewire. So it's like kind of like a system configuration, but then he has PinchFlat installed there. Just like I love PinchFlat, but on the desktop.
Well, I see it in services.nix,
right?
So it might depend on where that's all sourced.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't tell for sure. I do think it's a very solid layout. A lot of Lua, 40% Lua in there. But I'm like, okay, some host modules in here too. I'm seeing, and it uses a settings.nix file to set the username, the system description, and the system type. So like x86 or ARM. So he's got one file where he can go in there and just set that sort of as an override.
I think you're also missing. Did you see the contributor count on this thing?
No. What is that?
Yeah, I know.
59
that was one of my
main. Worked on this.
It's insane.
How is he getting 59?
Like, this is more serious of a Nix config than any of us have put together.
I know. How's he getting 59 people? That's awesome.
It's a great question.
There's a lot to look here in, because you can tell it's like really well used. I don't know if you noticed, but there's like separate home manager configs for like if you're going with a window manager environment or if you're going in a TUI environment, I guess, or there's modules for both anyway. So love to see that.
Yeah, I agree.
And quite the
I've
flake,
seen the config
there's all kinds of inputs going on. There's fanciness. I don't know what Nix Cats is, but I assume it's a category theory thing or just cute cat pictures. Either way, I like it. Oh, maybe it's for NeoVim. I see. Yeah, a lot of NeoVim stuff too, which is great.
I see in the config folder here, Linux-enable-IR emitter. Any guesses on what that's being used for?
Sounds like something Wes should look at. Oh, looks like he's defining a PCI device, right? Is that what he's doing? Interesting. Yeah, this is great. This kind of stuff, if you can have this just redeployed when you set up your system and like these kinds of devices so your IR blaster just works, oh, that's getting it dialed in, buddy. I'm not so sure if we wanted to score these, but I'm kind of feeling like this is a 4 out of 5. I just have a couple of gripes. In my opinion, it's a little sprawly. Just a little bit. But not bad. So I can't give it a full 5 out of 5. But I do want to give it a 4 out of 4, or a 4 out of 5, I think. I don't know. How do you feel? Is that a fair? Should we adjust? I'm open to the committee.
I think
are there not enough like initialization scripts for you? Is that a problem?
You bastard.
Yeah, there's no activation script. Seriously underdeveloped in this one. I just can't get 5 out of 5 if you don't get that.
Look, if you're not creating a tilde directory, I don't want to hear it. So.
Oh wait, I'm roasting the wrong person.
yeah, we're roasting their config. Yeah.
Ooh, sorry.
I think I just don't know if it's a 5 out of 5, but I think it's really close. I could be argued up or down. If anybody wants to make the case.
I mean, I think the contributor count, like,
Yeah.
okay, maybe it's a little sprawling or maybe it's a lot
impressive.
if you're just trying to use it for like 1 or 2 systems. But I feel like that contributor count says that a lot of the functionality in here is probably being used, imported, like more than just, you know, this is not just a single person's config for their like laptop at home. There's a lot more work and polish in here.
All right. So you got the contributors. Also, I'm talking myself into making it a 5 out of 5 because, like, as we'll see as we go along, some of these, they kind of go too far, right? This is a nice balance. There's a lot of things that are solved, problems like those PCI devices, things that are solved, but we're not going like nutso with it. You know, you can take it too far. So I'm kind of talking myself into a 5 out of 5 now.
Lock it in.
All right. Okay, so that, hopefully I got anywhere close to your name, Yichel, but thank you for sending that in. Nice to see the Hyperland setup. Love seeing those. And
I like seeing Lonzaboot, TPM stuff. There's just a lot to like. So
yes, the Lonzaboot was cool. All right, our next one is Shane's budget config. He says, I've attached a Nix config for you guys to analyze. Don't hold back. Tell me how bad it is. My goal with this config is to make a working config that uses flakes, although I don't really know what they are still, and allows me to add programs from either stable or unstable by choice. So after many hours of back and forth with failed configs and hallucinations, at times insults towards the stupid bot, we have a working config. Now, it's probably jank. I don't know. But it does seem to work. And so he supplied us with a flake, a packages.nix, and a configuration.nix. And I wanted to get your eyes on that flake there, Wes, and see if you had any, you know, editor's notes for Shane's budget flake.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're doing well, Shane. You're well on your way to getting a flake system, right? Like going from the first sort of configuration.nix setup with channels, getting into the flake mindset. That's a lot to do. So we kind of see a pretty clean flake here. We've got Nix packages and, right, as Shane was alluding to, also Nix packages unstable. The first one's pinned to a regular release and unstable. And then you can see here they have a let block where they're setting up both unstable and regular packages. And then let's see here. So then they're using a Nix module that they can feed in both manually so they do like an import call to load in their packages.nix file. That gets them all the packages they want from either collection of upstream Nix packages, and then they use an in-place module in the flake to inject that into the config. That's pretty clever. There might be easier ways ultimately, depending on how you want to do it, but I mean, it definitely works.
Okay, so it's got the West Pane approval. I wasn't sure. I did wonder if there was some redundant package assignments in there, but that's a pretty minor quibble. I think that got a more resounding West Pane approval than I expected, so I'm not going to argue with that. The packages.nix is interesting here. It's a pretty well laid out. Here, I'll pull it up. I hosted these, by the way. These will be linked in the show notes if people listening want to look at these as we're talking about them. They are linked over at linuxunplugged.com/640 if you'd like to check them out. And he has, I think he has a couple of apps that are like his staples that he's pulling from the Nix stable repository. And if you look at the packages.nix, and then he's got a handful of like, rock and roll apps that he pulls from unstable, like Waybar, WL Roots, those types of things. Shane's pulling from unstable. And I think that is, listen to me now, audience. Other distros can do it. Nobody does it like Nix, right? So if you never want your NeoVim to get changed out from underneath you, you pull that from stable. Or your Android tools is another example in here. Or, Rumenia. But your launcher, Wo-Fi, your Waybar, why not? Why not? Those are pretty rapidly developed. Why not pull those from unstable if it works for you? And you can do both.
Right, you can swap them, right? So in this case, because Shane's got this single file, it's pretty easy to just, remove Waybar from unstable and move it back up to stable if that's where you want to get it from. So I think that is one aspect that this works really well, because it can be tricky figuring out how you inject both. Like everything's kind of set up. If you do it the normal way, like you get your one version of Nix packages, and you give that to your module, and like you just kind of inherit that as packages inside your module. It's all easy to access there. And then there's multiple different mechanisms for like how do you actually thread unstable packages, or how do you thread an additional set of Nix packages through your entire config? A lot of people use like special args, which can totally work. Shane's using a clever, I think, Nix forward approach here. And you can also use this is like halfway to, I think, using the module interface to pass that through as well. But I like that, especially for a small config like this, it's really easy to switch where you're pulling stuff. So that's great.
Now, Brent, can I call upon you to give Shane just a quick elevator GitHub talk here, because he sent these as attachments to email because he's not using Git to manage these. Seems like that could be an area maybe he could improve on.
Well, you're assuming he's not using Git to manage these. Maybe he's just doing a local Git and doesn't have these necessarily publicly available, which I am a big fan of.
I don't know. I think he said he wasn't, but in the email, I just didn't put that in the doc. But I might be wrong. I could be wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, if not, I would say, come on, history is great because it keeps track of every single mistake or fix that you ever made to your configs, and you can go back and look at them or have at least some peace of mind for rollbacks. There's really little downside. You should use Git.
There you go.
Only took Chris, 8 months to be convinced, but we're trying.
Especially if you bother to go the...
I'm not the one. I'm not...
If you bother to go with Flames,
right?
and you don't go with Git, you're just like totally losing out on half of the value proposition.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I do dig that on his systems, he's using systemd boot. Didn't see that across all of the configs. And, I say have systemd do all the things, including boot the system. So, well done, sir. You thought we'd be mean, but we were pretty impressed.
Yeah, well, you're going to want systemd to do apps next, huh?
Yeah, systemd app do, buddy.
Looks like Shane is from Australia too, so kudos.
Ephraim came in. He says, I'm not a Nix user, but I'm a GUIX user. I figured I'd send you my GUIX config, which he did. I've been a GUIX user and contributor for about 10 years now, and I have a small build farm at home, 3 RISC-64 machines, 3 Arch-64, AA Arch-64, so ARM-64 machines, 2 iBook G4s. Oh, that's fun. Those iBook G4s were fun. And about an even mix of systems running GUIX or GUIX on top of Debian. I've seen basic GUIX examples before, but this was some GUIX wizardry. And I really, really appreciate that Ephraim sent this in because this gave me exposure to somebody who knows what the hell they're doing with GUIX. It really helped me kind of understand it a bit better. My goodness.
I believe it's pronounced geeks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That helps.
I'm sorry. That's an old habit. It is pronounced geeks.
But you're right. I've seen it. I've been curious about it. I've tried a little bit because it's like Nix. It's they share a lot. Except Nix rolled its own. Right. It's like Nix makes it super confusing because you get Nix OS the OS, you get Nix packages the packages. You get Nix as a build tool, and of course that build tool also decided that they would ship with their own programming language, the Nix language or Nixlang, whereas Geeks used Scheme, which is a type of Lisp, as their language, along with their own tooling and libraries and standard lib and all that kind of stuff on top of it. So it's sort of like a sibling in the Nix family, if you will. But yeah, you're right. I've not yet had the chance to really appreciate a fully used Geeks config that wasn't just managing some packages.
Yeah. Yeah. And also across multiple architectures too. The Pine 64 is in here, the ARM system's in here. Rock 64, I think. It's so cool. And I saw he had a system in there for his kids. Hasn't been updated for a little bit, but he can pull in these profiles. And that's a neat idea. Profiles for different systems. And
there's also, I don't know if you noticed VM config. That's kind of neat.
Yeah.
You can see there's some stuff in here to define an operating system with the host name, time zone. It looks, the bootloader config, a lot of this, even though the syntax is a little different, it looks a lot like a Nix system. It's kind of, it's like living in a different parallel universe.
I was checking out his commit history, and 3 weeks ago, he had a really interesting commit. And it was adapting MPV to always include sponsor block. So it's pre-bundled into MPV to have, I maybe he's pulling down YouTube streams or something. I don't know. But it's an interesting application of Geeks here where you can sort of build this like this. And so looking through his commit history here, it was pretty fascinating to see that. And also just a great idea. I just love that. And it's pretty powerful stuff. Lots of little things in there. Though, he's managing some of this stuff at a pretty intricate level, which seems like a little tedious to me, but The results seem to speak for themselves.
Well, it seems neat too, because like I don't know if there is like a home manager quite equivalent, but you can see, right, that came from the home.scm file. And maybe I guess that's stuff that's built in. I see like use module, GNU, home, services.
Yeah.
But it kind of shows like clearly Geeks is pretty darn flexible, because without, at least as far as I can tell, a giant system activation script, you know, they're managing like MPVs, conf, like all kinds of different conf files that probably you would have to use something like Home Manager or a dot file manager or something on another system.
I see you two have decided that I'm the villain of this sequel. This is why you want to put your stuff up on GitHub. That way your buddies can make fun of you all the time. This is why you want to do it. Okay, all right, but very well done, very thought out. Thank you for sending that in. I don't have a lot of comments. I do think it's interesting to kind of. I have more questions than
homework more to do, really.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, our next config confession comes from Distro Stu, and he says every time I have an alias U that updates everything. Oh, okay, regardless of my package manager, and I did it this way in Nix for a long time. Eventually, it started causing issues, so now I've broken it into more granular aliases. Check it out, and he provides his config. We bring up Distro Stu.
Ooh, Distro Stu, looking at you.
Yeah, look at his management commands here. He's got, and you know, if you're going to do this, document it, in which he has done. So u-nixos pulls updates and applies the NixOS configs. U-home pulls updates for the home manager and applies Nix configs. U-flatpak command updates the flatpaks on my desktop. I've never done this.
That's pretty great.
In all my years of Linux, I've never really got into aliasing.
I always hesitate because it's super convenient, obviously, for things that you run all the time. But then if you're moving to a new system that doesn't have your aliases for any reason, then will you forget how to do it the native way? Yeah, it's always a fear of mine, right? How do I update NixOS again? I forget.
That's why I don't do it. Okay, I got to give brownie points when I seize it. We didn't rate the last one. I think the last one's probably a 5. It was hard to rate. But this always brings it up on my list. This is how you get a win with me. And it's how to get started right here in the README. A fresh system, copy these commands, run these commands, pull this in, whatever it is. Just go from blank system to my full setup. When people have that and they've documented it, I'm giving it a W. I mean, so you guys got to talk me out of this, but Distro Stu here, he got a lot of points. I mean, that makes it at least a 3.5 right there, because he's got that. I do like it. He's got his own commands. He's got a flake system pulling in some unstable goodness. He does.
What do you think of the nesting? You know, Stu pointed us at the NixOS stuff, but that's kind of only one subdir in this whole repo. I mean, it does have its own README.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to take away from that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of others. When I was looking through, I kind of got lost just because there's a lot of other interesting stuff in this total config repo. So props to you for that. Like, there's stuff here for devenv and for flocks and like flatpak scripts. So even outside of the Nix configs, Stu clearly has like a lot of his computing life automated and documented, which is pretty great.
Okay, I feel like that brings it up to a 4. Can we get Distro Stu up to a 5? Is there, Brent, you have any thoughts?
Well, I'm seeing a couple things here. I'm seeing Disco being used. I think that gets extra points. Setting up systems using Disco is on the expert side of things, and definitely where things are going.
Also successfully navigated. There was a minute where some of the newer Linux kernel, latest kernel, kind of broke a small test inside Tailscale if you were building it. Anyway, it caused problems and you kind of had to do an override if you're on unstable in Nix. I see that override, which I think can now be removed too. Yes. So note there, but as a positive, because you had to go find the issue and like copy the code into an overlay and figure out where that goes in the config and like make it work. So sort of a good, Nix in practice, paper cuts edition.
And like Wes was saying, Stu has folders for hosts and modules, and then there's a directory just for files. And if you go into this files directory, it has just one thing, and it's a sync thing ignore.txt, and that's it. He's like, you solved that problem once. Nicely done. Yeah, and that's good. For the Macs, it doesn't sync the .ds store crap and whatnot. I did see, speaking of Macs, I did see that DistroStew has a Nix config for an M series MacBook, which I'll link in the show notes specifically if you out there are trying to get that working. Nice to see.
Did you check more into syncthing.nix? Because it's not just that ignores thing. There's a lot going on.
No, I should, huh? No, I was just impressed with the ignores.
Yeah, go under NixOS configs, NixOS modules, syncthing.nix.
Okay, all right. Were you going to say something, Brett?
Yeah, I'm also seeing configs here for, well, it depends where you look. If you look in the hosts folder, it's a little bit less, but I saw configs for at least 8 different hosts. So
wow,
that's really nice to see.
DistroStew's getting himself a little mini fleet going.
A couple different architectures too, so nicely done.
Oh yeah, and he's got, okay, this is a really cool sync thing config. He's got the different systems in here and their sync thing IDs. Oh man, this is, we should add that to the show notes. That's a slick sync thing setup.
I thought you'd like that.
I think that brings it to a 5.
Whoa.
Right?
So we're just doing like the DoorDash system today.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, I'm just kidding.
What, Brent?
He's also using Home Manager. Maybe you can get inspired here.
Dang it, Brent. I was actually hoping to see less Home Manager usage here, and
well, maybe we can like vibe code something that converts Home Manager configs into activation scripts or something.
Jesus. I just, what I want, or really honestly would work for me, if we could somehow have Markdown converted into Home Manager.
Nice.
Now we're talking. If I could just write the whole thing in Markdown.
Or you record a voice note on your phone, and then that becomes your Home Manager.
Even better. Can we do that? I think, DistroStew, I think you did pretty well here. Like Wes said, there is that Tailscale overlay thing that you could probably fix now. But that was a good catch on your part. So I guess that makes all of these 5 out of 5s. It's the fall of love.
I think the geeks one, we technically have to use imaginary numbers. It's like a whole separate axis, definitely.
-4, 22. I don't know. But yeah, these are some pretty solid configs. Minor stuff in there. Real minor stuff. Nice to see. Well done, everyone. Now we're going to get into some tricky ones. 1password.com/unplugged, y'all. Let's go right now, everybody. 1password.com/unplugged. Oh, I hit enter. I got a bad habit of that.
No, yeah, you just slips. Huh?
I do it all the time. I go there 3 or 4 times a day. It's just habit. You should.
I'm so sorry, officer.
Support the show. Yeah, I was sorry, officer. I know I shouldn't be, but while I'm driving, I'm going to 1password.com/unplugged. Okay, I don't do that.
Explains a lot, actually.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, 1password.com/unplugged is the place to go. Also, check out Join Crowd Health. Go to Join Crowd Health. Let's go joincrowdhealth.com.
Yeah, this one's trickier though, right? Because you got to remember to put in a code when you sign up.
You got to use our code Unplugged. Yeah, but $99 for the first 3 months. I should have brought my app. Tell you how much we've actually had to really pay long term. It's pretty impressive. And it's not for everybody. Not for everybody, but it's worked for us. JoinCrowdHealth.com. Brentley, how do you feel about setting us up for Ollie Mike as we come back? You ready?
Sounds good to me.
Here we go. In 3, 2.
Well, last episode, we got a boost from our dear Olympia Mike sending in his Nix book config. He says here, "Hey guys, I'd love to get in on the Roast My Nix config action. This isn't my personal config, but the main Nix module for the Nix book project that I've been working on for nearly a year now."
Yeah, we have Nix books. Mike was very generous and gave us each a Nix book, which he has essentially taken on this role of refurbishing abandoned machines and putting a Chrome OS-like experience based on NixOS onto these, hence the name Nix Book. And he's actually getting quite a fleet, and he's become known in our local area for doing this. And we call him Olympia Mike because he's from Olympia, Washington. And so what he sent us in is the configuration he's deploying to all of these people out there. And I don't know the exact number, but I know it's probably in the low hundreds. So it's quite a bit of people, and it's growing all the time. When I check in with him, I always hear about more people that are deploying it, or I see something on his social. So I was really looking forward to digging through Ollie Mike's Nick's book setup. And I'll start with what I liked, and I'd like to hear from you, gentlemen. I do have a few ideas, but I'll start with what I liked. He's got an auto update system in here, and I'm a big fan of, if you're deploying these systems in a way where you can roll back if something goes wrong, build them to update, take some precautions, which I'll get into later. But I love that he has that forward-thinking kind of approach to managing these systems. Now, I think if I would just add to that some sort of more air catching, maybe an auto stop or rollback, like if somebody, for example, would be, because I've had this happen to me, if I'm doing an update and I lose my internet connection, it kind of just gets stuck in like this no man's zone loop, right? Some stuff around that, kind of catching errors with the updates, or maybe like the checkout didn't work completely or something like that, I think would make that even a little bit better of a system, just from the short experience I had with it. But I like it a lot.
One thing I always hesitate with auto updating systems is, considering my crazy lifestyle, I'm often on a network that I don't necessarily want to pull down a ton of data.
Yeah.
So a little notification, I don't know, 5 minutes before saying, hey, 5 minutes from now, we're going to do this. And a little like, please no button would be really nice for my lifestyle. I don't know how easy or hard that is, but I'll just throw that out as a feature request.
What's funny is, in my initial notes, I had like a little on-screen display that says your system's going to get updated. And I put myself in Mike's shoes for a second. I thought, I bet he doesn't even want them thinking about it. He just wants it like a Chromebook, just all updated in the background.
Great point.
So you know what you could do? Go ahead, Wes.
Oh, I was just going to say, I like the idea of, I don't know, Brian, what do you think? What do you think about switching to a Nick's book for a while? Because just given the bug field and exactly what you were just saying, this might be the fastest way to get some great feedback possible.
There you go. I like that idea.
Well, when Mike gave us these, he specifically said, hey, Brent, please try to break this and give me some feedback. So I do have one of these Nick's books on some refurbished hardware that he provided us, right above my head here in the van, in the cupboard. It's been the dedicated van laptop. Of course, when I do podcasting in here, I actually have my main system, but as a pull it out and just use it for a quick thing, I have been using a Nick's book for, I guess it's 4 or 5 months now. Don't use it that often, but it's been doing what it needs to every once in a while when I pull it out. But I am going for the long-term review, so I think so far been okay. Haven't run into any huge, massive bugs. There is that hesitation I mentioned about the auto updating when I'm on sketchy networks, so I tend to only want to do that when I'm connected to a grid network or something like that.
I got an idea about this.
It's been okay.
And I don't know, Wes, if this is, I think this is possible. So when I set up auto update for my kids' systems for 5 minutes, I considered a bandwidth limiter of some kind, a way to say don't use more than X, megabits or whatever. I don't know if it was possible, because like I said, I just looked into it for 5 minutes. Could that be something that would be achievable? Would that have to be its own separate update script?
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to make sure that you could definitely apply that kind of stuff with traffic control or other setups on Linux. I think the sandboxing would be what you need to make sure, because if you're using multi-user NICs, then you're actually just talking to a daemon that wouldn't be running under your sandbox unless you specifically configure, so I think it might be kind of tricky if you didn't want to apply that rate limiting globally.
Okay. All right.
But
there is a way to indicate networks.
If you're just true, yeah. You could not do it if you can sort of detect the metadata from the system. Am I on Wi-Fi, or do I do a speed test, or check what ISP you're on, or the actual system metadata, depending on how good that is.
Okay, I have a couple of suggestions I want to bounce off you guys. I don't know if this is creepy, but let's say Ollie Mike has a fleet size of 200, And these are, I'm just guessing on numbers, but these are almost exclusively people that are using it for word processing, web browsing, email, tasks that a refurbished like Dell would be perfect for. And I wonder, is it creepy? I think you'd have to get user permission, but is there a space here for some kind of monitoring? Like, so which systems haven't been updated in X amount of days. Or maybe monitor rollbacks in the log to see if anybody's having to roll back, which would maybe indicate a problem. Is that it? What do you think? I just think when you're at 5 systems, 10 systems, no big deal. When you're at 200 systems and you're doing channel-based updates, I don't know, it's like, feels like you might want some kind of observation on how that all is going. What do you think? Is there a way to do that isn't creepy?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're upfront about it and maybe you provide a way to disable it. I do like the idea, like you get little pings home as auto updates or reboots or stuff become successful. But that said, I don't know what the support, does that create more of like it
could,
onus on support when you kind of just like, look, I'm doing my best. I'm putting these out there, but hey, don't call me.
Well, I don't
know what the level of personal support Mike wants to be putting out. Or would you just use it as like development metrics for like, oh boy, that last one didn't go well. I might need to tell folks.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. Is like, does Mike develop this into a business one day? I mean, if you get enough users, you could. And then maybe you do want observation. You want some sort of monitoring. And I also think feature flags. Because as you get more users, you just collect all these edge cases. And so you might want a really simple way, like one file somebody can go into on their system and just disable certain features, like maybe auto updates or flat packs or whatever, like some simple way for them to go in and just say, on this system, we don't want auto updates for some reason. Because you're always going to have these edge cases. So I think that could be useful. But I feel like...
Or, you just accept that Mac and Windows update whenever they want. So we get to too.
Maybe. Okay, but the elephant in the room, and he said it when he wrote in, is that he's using channels, which means everything he's putting out there is hard-coded to a specific version of NixOS. In this case, 2505, which came out in May, obviously. And those do have end-of-life dates. So the fleet has to be migrated to the next channel. And that's kind of like doing a Fedora distro upgrade or a Debian distro upgrade in some senses. It can be a larger set of changes than a standard update. And I wonder, Wes, if this doesn't call for a solution where is Mike maybe sitting in front of that stuff? Like, if he's not going to do a flake, how could he better handle a channel-based system? Or is it just use flakes?
Yeah, I'm not the person to ask. I don't use channels at all. No, I mean, I think it does mean you have more, imperative stuff to manage on the machine. I do think you could get where you want to go eventually with flakes and probably ultimately have a better time. I think you can kind of tell there's a lot here. I mean, if you just look around in this repo, right, there's a lot of different, there's update.sh, there's install.sh, and within the config, there's a lot of different scripts kind of like keeping everything together. But that you are going to do more of that composition locally with the channel because it isn't as hermetically tied together as a flake does probably mean, Mike's got to make sure he's got plenty of good test machines ready to go to like verify that everything that is possible. And maybe it's more complicated if you do have too many of those feature flags, like make sure all versions of your config are going to successfully be able to build with the updated channel. And then like, how do you stage that rollout? Is it just one push that you do? Some people get it before others, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, staged rollouts could be helpful too. If you have a particular group of savvy users, you make them.
But I don't know if there's any like plumbing in here for, that's a lot more stuff to.
I didn't see it, but I'm suggesting maybe it should be added.
One thing Mike could look at, there's a lot of, like I was mentioning, a lot of scripts in here. You may or may not want this, but you're using packages.write script, which is great. There is also write shell application, which kind of just does like a little more stuff. Like in particular, there's one of these scripts in here where Mike is manually setting like a bunch of path stuff and exports and bash set -eu. And if you use write shell application, it can set some decent bash stuff for you, and it even runs shell check automatically to like make sure you're not doing anything bad or half broken in a bash script.
Well, now you tell me.
Mm-hmm. It's not always what you want, right? Sometimes you want something more minimal, and that might be what's going on here. I'm not trying to say he's doing anything wrong or anything. More just say, hey, exists if it is more convenient for you. I do like the, like, I don't know if you noticed, like, okay, we're installing some stuff, but we're even taking the time to make a extra little desktop icon and desktop item for Zoom so that it I guess it's installed by a Flatpak, but this makes sure that you get like a nice little Nix native integration for it, which is a nice touch.
You can actually declare that desktop file. You don't actually have to have a bash script creating that desktop file.
Oh, it is. It's not a bash script. It's like a Nix native.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were saying it was a bash script. All right, that's pretty good then. I'm feeling pretty good. Brent, how are you feeling going over this?
I mean, it looks great. It's evolved quite a bit since the last time I looked at this several months ago. One thing I'm noticing that I didn't notice before is another script, of course, but this one's called Power Wash. Have you seen this one?
Yeah.
I think it does exactly what you probably think it does, which is just cleans that system in every way you could think. But he's making some like custom directories here and just kind of bringing the system back to an original factory state. And that might be nice for this kind of system because it could get passed from one user to another as people are done with the system and they think, wow, this was great for me. I could give it to, I don't know, my granddaughter or a friend, something like that. So good thinking there. I'm sure he uses it when he's setting these things up quite a lot.
I would like Mike to write back in and tell us where this goes in 2 years. Because if you think about maybe a little bit of metrics or observability, and if you were to build
a sprinkle of flakes.
Yeah, a sprinkle of flakes, and you were to build a little bit of support services around this, a guy could have a pretty good second income stream. And obviously, they're a sponsor of the show, but I almost wonder if this wouldn't be the perfect use case for Nebula to provide the backend securely in a way that wouldn't be too hard to manage. And you could provide through that all of the things I just talked about, the observability, the monitoring, but you could also offer secure backups, assuming you wanted to get into this. You could offer more proactive monitoring if you wanted to get into that. And you could even offer like a Nextcloud quote unquote secure storage that never touches the public internet. You know, it goes from their machine over Nebula to your hosted infrastructure. I don't know if you ever want to take it that direction, but I feel like when you're getting to this amount of systems, you're going to have people that their work depends on this, and they might actually be looking for that kind of support. I'm a little concerned about the channel stuff. I will just be honest with you. I just think that's going to be tricky. And then if you combine that without kind of staged rollouts or the observability of failed updates, that to me is hard to make it a 5 out of 5. Even though I love this idea, a 5 out of 5. I'm leaning 4. But I could be talked out of it if the committee has a different opinion.
No, I think 4 is reasonable. Also, we've got Cinnamon, but there's no Hyperland option, so I don't think it's ready for you to use it. So that's probably where some of your motivation's coming from.
It's such a cool project, though.
It really is. And you can tell how scrappy and just like how far Mike has gotten this to work, how reliable it seems to be. I mean, like, and really, if you look at it, like, there's not even 300 lines of stuff in this file. Like, it's not super complicated. It's not a crazy thing to try to maintain. I'm very impressed.
Well done. All right, so Radek comes in with his configuration. He says it's a complete production-ready NixOS configuration for self-hosting 20-plus services with enterprise-grade security, automated backups, and zero-trust networking. Perfect for home lab enthusiasts, privacy conscientious users, and anyone wanting to self-host their digital life with minimal maintenance. Disclaimer, the entire project was Vibe engineered.
Well, one way you can tell is that I don't know if it's better or worse than the one you have in your repo.
Oh, here we go.
Well, I don't know if you noticed there's a file in here that almost looks like a command.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good sign. Yeah, that udo one there, udo-u Postgres. I love that.
I think it might have been sudo to start with, but
yeah, that's good stuff. That was just yesterday too, so that's
easily 2 stars just right there for that.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't mean in a good way. I'm going like adding stars on.
Oh,
that's
okay.
A baseline.
All right, okay. I mean, let's talk about what's going on here. Holy crap. 20 plus services. He's not kidding. And I see some of my favorites in there, my favorite RARs and my Jellyfin. I love what I'm seeing there. He's got an architecture diagram.
Oh, yeah.
He's pulling in Azure for backups and DNS management to handle all of that. And I believe, I'm not positive, but I'd like your eyes on this, Wes. I think instead of installing Postgres like 20 times and Redis 10 times, he's got one instance of Postgres and one instance of Redis. And then everything's configured to use that, which is something you don't often see on people's like Docker home labs. Is you'll often see, 5 copies of Postgres running on somebody's system, and he solved that problem. It does make it a central point of failure, obviously.
Yeah, pros and cons, but it is you don't actually need separate servers if depending on what you're doing.
So my man,
there's a lot of stuff in here.
He's got weekly automatic backups, which is really great. I would challenge him to consider adding file system snapshots before his automatic updates, and just have an extra, or maybe kick off his automatic, because he has automated backups. Maybe run that job right before you do your automatic updates, so that way you have a really nice fresh point in time if something does go wrong.
I'm impressed the integration with SOPs, especially for a vibe coded setup. Like getting secrets, tying that together. Not leaking secrets into your repo.
Yep.
That is all stuff that takes time and fiddling and fuss to really validate.
He's got the RStack broken out, audio bookshelf. Every major service like Nextcloud and Jellyfin and Image are all broken out into their own Nix file.
A pretty pragmatic balancing here of native NixOS services as well as a lot of containers. Right? So like here's SearchXNG and Open Web UI, both running as OCI containers, which is great because I think sometimes it's easy to forget that, you don't have to, you can pick and choose, like use the Nix module if you want, run it in a container, either, imperatively or declaratively, it all works great. So do what works for you.
I may be aping some of this RStack. This is looking really good. I do like to see all of this.
Like, I don't know if this was a deliberate choice or not, but for instance, Image is being run as a container, not through the module.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder, and I bet you that is. I wonder if there's any hardware acceleration issues there. Probably not. I'm sure he's probably solved that. I would say, like, if you wanted, like, to unlock, like, the next level of cool for this setup would be automated restore testing into, like, a stupid container or a throwaway VM. Because you're doing the automated backups. How do you know they work? Wouldn't that be something if you could vibe that up, where once a month or something you do a restore from your last backup, and
that'd be killer,
and see if it actually works? Because I love that you have all this. I verified you're backing up your app data. I'm pretty sure. I assume you're backing up your Postgres and your Redis. I would imagine if you're running 20 databases on those things. But I didn't see you ever testing it, and that could be something you're doing manually, obviously. But why not give a shot at automating that? You're so close. You're so close with everything. This is, I think, I don't want to do like grading on a curve, but for a vibe setup, this is pretty top notch for a vibe setup.
There's another one we're going to see in this category as we go on here. And, just with our recent episodes and everything else, boy, are we at a point for vibing with NixOS. It's really come a long way, which is great. I mean, it's just a superpower. I will say you might consider getting your Vibe tool to add an auto formatter. I noticed nothing crazy, but just like in your Flake, there's some stuff where some of the indentation and stuff, which doesn't break anything because it's Nix, not Python or YAML or whatever, but should be something easy for it to do to be able to, easily format and keep everything looking pretty for you.
And I also think, this is why I'm not sure I want to give it a 5 out of 5, because I think there might be some dock drift, which is really easy when you're moving. I do like your architecture diagram, though. Oh, this is a really tough one. This is really tough.
Yeah, that is one thing you kind of have to balance, too, is it's really easy to get the LLM to spew out a lot of the docs, but
then they drift.
Keeping them up to date is a whole other challenge.
Yeah,
so sort of like, which ones are essential for like, I really do want this and this is going to help me continue to build, and which of these are like just dead weight that I ultimately got to carry around and I could rediscover easily.
Yeah, I think he's got like some code examples that reference like old versions of stuff in there. I mean, there's just a little bit of drift. So I don't know if it's a 5 out of 5, but I feel like it could be a 4 out of 5. Again, I mean, we're being pretty generous. I don't know. I think some people would knock it down.
Yeah, we'll give Claude 1 star, and then the rest of the config gets 4.
All right, there you go. There you go. But better than I would have thought. I got to say, Radek, better than I would have thought. Well done. And nicely done on focusing on a home lab with all of the essential great home lab services. Somebody listening, even if you're not interested in deploying all of this, you might want to just look through his config and get some ideas for some great home lab services. They're really good. All right. We're about to round it out, and one of our last ones comes from Brandon W. He says, I've slowly been migrating my computing life to declarative configurations. As part of that, I've switched my Mac to Nix Darwin, as well as my home lab to Docker Compose and NixOS. I just finished NixOS this weekend on 2 of the 4 hosts and only locked myself out of SSH 3 times. Nice.
Hey, under 5.
Have done.
Star for that.
Star for that. All right. I wanted to send in my infra repo and my Nix Darwin configs for the config confessions. I'm most proud of my home lab deployment system using Ansible playbooks, 1Password for secrets, Just, GitHub Actions, and the Renovate bot for updates. Any suggestions would be appreciated. And howdies from Texas. So yeah, he sent us 2 configs, the home lab and the Mac. So why don't we start with looking at the old home lab? I do like that he's broken them out like that. Also, he was committing as of this morning when I was checking in on this. He was
in active development. I love that.
Yeah. He's got his hosts broken out here. He's got an explanation of his Tailscale and Ansible setup and secrets management. I don't see a quick getting started, but this is pretty solid documentation. Description of the home lab systems, the Linode, and I do like this. So this is winning a point with me. He's running a Linode exit node to forward certain critical, as he puts it, mission critical data through this Linode exit node. Love seeing that setup. That's worked really well for us too.
Yeah, you can tell there's a lot. I like seeing a Polyglot repo like this, right? Like there's a lot of stuff working together. There's obviously Nix stuff that we'll be taking a look at, but also, as you mentioned, right, we've got Ansible playbooks, and part of what that's doing is deploying a bunch of Compose YAML files that are also in here that look really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, like pretty well, Traffic, Uptime Kuma, Portainer, we got Bind running. Like there's a lot of serious networking thought that has gone into this, which is great.
I think you hear that, Brandon? I think he's impressed. I think he likes it. I love seeing image in there. Docker with traffic and using tags, it looks like. And you're right.
Did you notice that there's 2 separate domains that get routed with custom split DNS servers? There's a personal services one and a family one.
He's got the split brain DNS.
But
I have an observation and question here. In the NixOS folder, I'm seeing a hardware configuration.nix. It was under my impression that you generally didn't want to version track that because it's being created on each system independently. What are your thoughts on that, Wes?
I mean, you can recreate it. I think if you do track it, there's nothing necessarily wrong with tracking it. You just need to know that, like, only deploy it to the ones that are relevant, and then it's on you to make sure that you update it if you are actually changing something with your hardware.
Fair enough.
All right, so where Brandon scores a W with me is on the Mac stuff, surprisingly. He's got a command to get started right at the top of the README. So you get a new Mac or you reinstall Mac OS, you're not spending 10 minutes, you're copying and pasting. That's a W. I know this is how it works on Mac OS, but it's just funny to me to see brew defined by Nix. It's funny. But then what was even crazier to me was to see the Mac apps. I'm going to link this in the show notes specifically if people want to see this, because it's just bonkers to see Mac apps getting installed by Nix. Chromium, Discord, Spark, Notion, Spotify, Visual Studio Code, Xcode. Huh. You can install Xcode with Nix. Would you even believe it? So that to me is the first time I've ever actually seen that. I know people, like our buddy Alex does this, but I never really dug through the config.
It is pretty great what you can do.
You can disable the DS stores.
Yeah, right. It's one of those things where it's like, boy, I hope I don't need to do this again, but it is probably exactly what I would end up doing were I forced back onto that platform. So it's great having these in our tool chest to like pull from in the future also.
I'm amazed macOS lets you do some of this. You can set keybinds through Nix in macOS. You can set macOS keybinds. What a world. Talk about making the Mac way more manageable. So that, to me, brought this up a couple of points right there because it's well done. He's got the quick get started stuff. You know how I love that. Overall, it's the most interesting in that it's x86, it's M series Mac, it's Ansible, it's Nix, and it's Docker Compose in one. And yet it seemingly is working really well together. And he's got not only individual workstations, but he's got a home lab setup out of it too. So it sucks. I say 1 star. No.
Too much non-Nix, negative points.
Right.
We're going to actually we're going to flag this at GitHub, see if they can delete it for us.
Bro, was it even vibed? Bro, you know.
Yeah. Thoughtful, long-term development and use? No.
Yeah. Was committed. You were still working on it this morning as we're prepping the show. Okay, so I think when you think of it's a 5 out of 5. I think this is a 5 out of 5. So this is our first 5 out of 5 for the second segment, but I think it's fair it goes to Brandon. It's really neat. It's really neat to see the home lab and the Mac all broken out using, some of our favorite apps, some of our favorite technology stacks. Well done, sir. 5 out of 5. All right, gentlemen, and our last config confession came in just last night from Bearded Tech, and he has vibe-coded a NixOS router. He says it's a declarative NixOS configuration that transforms a standard PC into a full-featured network router with integrated secrets management. And it has multiple WAN types. It supports, obviously, being a DHCP server. It can be a PPoE server if you need. It also has PPTP support, LAN bridging to combine multiple Ethernet ports into one network. It has a DNS server, DHCP, obviously a firewall with NAT support, and then in there, port 40, and like he said, secret management as well. But the thing that is really impressive is Bearded Tech has made this so approachable for anybody that just wants to take a PC and turn it into a NixOS router. He did the right thing, and he just put a curl right into sudo bash in the quick start, and you can just get rocking. You know how we, always suggest you do that. Of course, I'm being ironic, but if you trust the person, he does actually tell you everything it's going to do in there. But you boot from the NixOS installer, and then you just run this command, and it does everything else. And then the other thing he thought of, because this is how it is in router life, is if you come back to one of these boxes you've deployed 2 years down the road and it's all decrepit and out of date, he's got a quick refresher command. You, again, slam that thing right into sudo bash, and you've got a completely refreshed router, good to go again. He's got documentation for the individual setup guide, router config, secrets management, troubleshooting, the development. He tells you what you need. I mean, this is top notch. This is really a great idea, especially because I want to run a NixOS router here at the studio.
It is, I will
how
say.
Do you feel about a...
Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, go on, Brett.
How do you feel about a vibe-coded router, though, Chris?
I don't love that idea. I mean, if it builds and it routes the packets, well, it's not like he's going to vibe like a back door into it, right? I mean, it's...
How do you know?
I don't know. What do you think, Wes? How do you feel about that, a vibe-coded router?
I mean, it is one of those things that you can test it, right? Like, if you break it, because your packets don't route anymore. To the extent that you can easily test all of the stuff that your router's doing, I think it makes a pretty good use case in that sense. I don't think I see any like crazy routing stuff in terms of like custom IP tables or NF tables or anything like that. But I do see like PPoE going on and some bridges being configured. There's some nice stuff in here. Like router config.nix, which is just a declarative file describing the networking. I like that a lot. You might consider, because it's vibe coded, one, just impressive speed. I think it started on the 7th with the initial commit. It's the 9th as we record. And there's already been like 50 some commits or something. Although if you're getting vibe commits, they're kind of verbose. You might tweak your setup to...
Agreed.
I don't follow like conventional commit standards if you like that one, or just at least the like have a quick summary single line and then put more of the detail below just to sort of match what a lot of Git software thinks. But that's like a minor nitpick.
It was one of mine too. It was kind of annoying looking through and I know this problem. They are very, like, just exactly what Wes said. So I kind of agree on that. It was sort of a bit much there.
It is nice that there's like a dev shell. There's a formatter. Got SOPs going in here for secrets, which is very forward thinking. Yeah.
I noticed that he recently swapped out Tectidium for blocky DNS. I'd be curious to know more about that.
Yeah, I would be curious to hear how that's working for you, which things you like or don't like about either one of them. I've looked at blocky a little bit, although I've never actually really tried it.
Yeah, same.
Briefly.
I wonder if
it has a lot of metrics built in, though.
Yeah, I wonder. I know. Yeah, and I know it also has some ad blocking and malware built in and stuff like that too. So that's all pretty good. I don't love the way the commits. The other thing that I would love to see is, I don't know how you would not pick favorites here, but the VPN options are pretty 1997. I was doing PPOE connections literally like on NT4 boxes. Not that people don't use them. I'm not saying they don't. I would also love to see some more modern options built in, a Tailscale or a Nebula, or what I would really love is some way for the user to pick. And then you just get that. Like maybe you're a NetBIRD person, maybe you're a Nebula person, and then you just go in and you say, I'm a Nebula person. And then it sets up with Nebula or whatever. Because the VPN options I'm never using that stuff in 2025 if I'm setting up a new router. If I am going into an organization that has a historic setup, maybe you might even call it tech debt. Yeah, I can understand why they're doing it. But if I'm, installing a vibe-coded NixOS router on my PC at home, I don't want to use PPPoE or PPTP, right? So that's just one thing I would add, maybe. I'd love to see some backups built into this too. I think backups could be really good. But for like you said, Wes, a going from zero to actual functional system in a couple of days, and to have the quick start on just you boot off of the NixOS Live system and then run this script. Oh, when you come back in a couple of years, run this script to refresh it. Assuming that works, that's great. That's exactly what you want with this kind of stuff.
I do like that too. As oh no, that box died. Well, thankfully, I just run the script clone things down. I've got my router back in 10 minutes instead of a couple of hours.
All right, gentlemen, should we allow a last minute contender in for the?
Let's do it.
Okay, all right. We got to give Bearded Tech a score before we move on, and I'm going for. Can we do points? I feel like a 3.5 or a 4. It's really close, though.
I think 4 because there's some fancy scripts in here.
All right, Brent. Tell us about our last minute contender that came in live on the show.
Yes, we have someone in the Matrix chat, T-Drill, who said, "Oh, I got a config. Maybe you guys can have a look at this one." So this has been a totally fresh config for all of us. So I think we should dive in.
Coming in fresh. Well, first thing I'm noticing, just right off the top, well, we got some systems here, but I like the systems are broken into 2 categories. Do you see this, Wes? You see these 2 categories of systems here? You got the NixOS systems, and then you have the systems that still need to be nixed.
There's nothing else.
That's pretty good. And then you got the structure in here and all of that. I'm also noticing just a couple of things is pretty recent commits. As of 29 minutes ago, actually. What are you listening to the show or not?
Wow, it's so organized in here.
Yeah, he's in the mumble room. All right, you are. So you're in the mumble room.
Do you want to just tour us through here?
Yeah, tell us about your system. Yeah, why not?
Sure. So the most recent commits there, I made a quick README update and a flake lock action update. But yeah. So if you basically jump back to the root, I essentially have things broken out. I attempted to recently do a major refactoring and make things a lot more modularized, however you say it.
Right.
But basically, I got hosts Right now I'm purely running NixOS. I don't have any Macs, but basically in the host under NixOS, I have the different configs. I have a couple special, actually, if you want to look at the modules, there is a host spec module that I have borrowed from someone else I found online and then tweaked it to my own needs. I want to say it's actually right in the root there.
Yeah, this host spec.nix there, huh?
Yeah,
Ooh,
so basically
nice.
that creates a host spec and then creates just a bunch of variables that you can call throughout. This file is actually imported within each host, so I can reuse a lot of the same variables without messing up any other hosts itself. But starts off just with some basic specifying primary username, a secondary username. It's basically just myself, and then a couple of the systems are also used by my wife.
Got to make sure you get Olama installed. I see that.
I have a couple, I break it down. If it's a workstation, it adds a desktop interface to it. If it's gaming, it does another layer on top of that. Couple services specified there. And yeah.
I really like this. I mean, I'm coming in fresh, but what I'm seeing, I really like the way you have the modules workstation laid out, the audio.nix, the bluetooth.nix, the fonts.nix, nvidia.nix. This is really well structured. Sometimes
quite a lot of helpers here in the just file too. Like it shows you're definitely using this stuff and maintaining it, and that you've got commands that you actually need to run and have helpfully stashed them away, which is nice.
Yeah, one in specific.
I borrowed that off from someone else, and honestly, I need to go through it and use it a lot more because I really don't use just the way that I should.
I was curious about one of these here. I'm not sure if you're using it currently, but you have a just command for creating an ISO. It says build an ISO image for installing new systems and create a symlink for QEMU usage. Is that something you're using actively? And if so, how to go?
I have not built that in yet. So that was actually a carryover. I got to give credit to Emergent Mind on that because that's part of what I had ripped off of him. So it's an intention that I plan on going, basically building a minimal ISO that I can use for spinning up new systems. It'll already have some of the basic tools that I want in it rather than having to use the custom installer all the time. Because realistically with Nix, if you have a config, all you got to do is get into a system that has Nix on it, whether it be a minimal ISO or whatever, grab your flake, go to GitHub, and let it build.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, good. The fact that you haven't used everything makes this like a real person's config, because before it was almost suspiciously good. So.
Yeah. Okay. And the Raspberry Pi, that's on the to-do list for 2016, huh?
From 2016?
Yeah, right. I'm noticing.
Yeah.
So, not done?
Raspberry Pi 3. I have my 4 already Nixified. So it's just a matter of actually going down in the basement, grabbing it, and, putting the image on the SD card, which sounds simple enough, but it's a timing.
No. I've got a couple from 2016. I'm going to get this running too on my project list. So I totally understand. But I feel like this is a top tier setup, even if it's not fully implemented. It's well done. It's well thought out. It's well structured. I mean, do we have a reason not to give this a 5 out of 5? I defer to the committee, but that's the way I'm inclined.
I thought we were going 6.
Oh, whoa. Can we do that?
For the very last one, I think we have to.
Brent, you'd have to co-sign.
I mean, are there even rules of this contest? I say go for it.
All right, there we go. 6 out of 5. I don't know how that's possible.
If you want to take a look at that lib, one of the cool things that I saw on someone else's config and borrowed is actually an importing method for those files.
Okay.
So without being able to rip through it often enough. So I actually have in there, I have a relative to root, I have a scan paths, and a recursively import that I just recently did. I haven't built that out yet to actually utilize it in many places, but the scan paths or the relative to root is realistically kind of one of the key pieces I use. So if you actually go back into the modules and look at any of those default files, it will be utilizing those actually I'll use the scan path. So I'm not actually specifying all of those files by default.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, I mean, even that default NICs there, I'm pretty sure has it in. But when I'm importing, I'm basically doing a one-line importer. Yeah, third line or line 11.
That's great.
There,
I think
scan paths dot. So, and then that function has built into it filtering out to directories and .nix files. And then within each directory has a default .nix that would run the same scan paths file again, or line again, and it would import all of the files that are adjacent to that.
That is great. So you got custom Nix lib. I stand by my 6 out of 5 for sure.
All right, confirmed.
I mean, I figured if you were going to give me a 6, I had to, throw some extra little.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? You didn't even, because we were impressed so much, you didn't even get docked for missing the deadline, which we didn't really set a deadline. So
I was going to say, I technically sent it in Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Through the.
Oh, even the listeners are roasting you, Chris.
Unplugged website.
So. I see how it is. All right. Well done. And we will link to these configs in the show notes if you want to get some ideas for yourself. Unraid.net/unplugged, y'all. Go check it out. They just have the brand new version 7.20 out, which has a totally responsive UI. So you can be chillaxing on your couch and managing your system. But the really cool thing is there's a whole bunch of people building apps around it already. They open sourced the API spec. They also have a new responsive design, which is great. All that, just all of it. It's just good. But then also probably something you may care about if you're like me and you have old family photos that have been given to you on an NTFS disk. They have now added proper NTFS support, as well as a few other things, including some nice features for ZFS. So that's unraid.net/unplugged. Okay, Brentley, why don't you bring us into Zaboose when we come back? Are you ready for that?
Yeah, take it away.
Here we go. In a 3 and a 2.
Well, we have a boost here. It is a live boost, and it is also a live baller boost. Now, Derivation Dingus sent in a live boost for 100,000 sats.
Oh, are you serious?
You're the best around. Nothing's gonna ever keep you down.
All right, thank you. That's great.
Derivation says here, I boosted in asking for this episode last time, but episode 2 landed on my anniversary weekend, and while I've been making big changes to my configs, I just ran out of time to send my config in this time, so I'm listening live and loving it while doing my Sunday chores. And please consider this boost a request for Config Confessions episode 3.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get a few +1s on that because, we have to space it out too. But sorry you couldn't make it. That's great. Really appreciate it.
You get at least 1 or 2 stars for having your life priorities properly in order.
Listening live and boosting really brought up the average for this episode because we were kind of lagging for this episode too, so it made a big difference.
I meant being able to resist just messing with their next config and paying attention to their spouse and chores. Like that's pretty impressive.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you meant he was listening to us, which is, I think.
That too, though. Yeah, you're right. That too.
Thank you for that baller boost. Nykov comes in with 22,222 sats. That's a big old McDuck.
Things are looking up for old McDuck.
No message, just value, though, which we appreciate.
This old duck still got it.
Thank you very much, Nykov.
Turd Ferguson comes in with 21,000 sats.
Turd Ferguson!
I have no config to send in. You see, boys, where I'm going, you don't need a config file. It's the future.
Yeah, okay. All right, Doc Brown. Okay, I see what you did there.
Is this just like so post-vibe that, you don't even really need to keep a static config? You just constantly revibe on demand for whatever you need at any moment?
Yeah, clearly the future is dynamically vibed configs as the system boots. What could go wrong?
And that way you can like, it's like a SaaS and you pay per minute because you're live streaming your config from like a cloud server.
Well, you need to pre-render, right? And you want to have it globally available.
That's true. Yeah, you want failover.
So that's probably $90 a month, I would imagine.
Easy.
Yeah.
But you gotta pay with some sort of zero trust
token,
ERC token,
ZK rollup ERC20 token. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Turd. Appreciate that boost.
Well, Chris, you're going to like this next booster. 4,590 sats from BTC is my 401k.
Oh my god, this drawer is filled with Fruit Loops!
All right, okay.
This one comes from Castomatic. Elevation boost, boosting from my mountain home. The sad amount is my current elevation.
Wow.
Also plus
Love
one
it.
for config confessions. I've yet to truly commit to NixOS, and these confessions help set us Nix noobs on the right path.
Oh, good. There's also some
I like
Ansible and
hearing
Geeks
that.
in there.
Yes, because it can also be a little intimidating, I think, right? Like you see these complicated, big, well set up configs and be like, how am I ever going to get there? But I like that attitude. I like the oh, look, there's all this stuff I can copy from. And, you don't have to go from 0 to vibe to giant config. There's lots of nice little middle grounds in the way.
Also, BTC, I have a question. Your elevation boost there, is that feet or meters or furlongs? What do we got here? 4590. Let us know.
Yeah, and is it snowing already? I imagine at 4,000 it probably is snowing already. And then because I've got friends that live at like 7,000 in Arizona, and it is already full on snowing for them. So I bet you're.
I like this idea of an elevation boost and see how high can we go, right?
Yeah, but some of them are like mine. Mine's like
4590.
Mine's like 180.
Yeah, us the sea level folks are not going to do well here.
Yeah, so
Plus or minus the error bar too, right?
I guess so. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's got to get above 2,000 sats to get right on the air, I suppose. But thank you for that boost. That's a great idea. So hangs here with 3,333 sats.
I don't understand what the heck is going on here.
I bet you that's a reference. Sohang says, I'm kind of getting a bit tired of using Nix. The documentation problem doesn't seem to be making any progress. And a side effect of the drama has been that a lot of work, both around flakes and the general stuff, has stalled. I just had a situation come up where I couldn't reason about my config, and there's no documentation I can look up. My three-way brain split of Nix, NixOS, and Nix packages is getting untenable. Not to mention the whole deal is a tangle of shell and Perl scripts. But alas, what alternatives do I have? Geeks is still a bit obscure, and I'm unsure of the reliability there. I'm getting a gosh darn PhD in comp science, and Nick documentation is still too much. And I just spent a hot minute finding the non-existent boost button on the member feed. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem with private feeds versus public feeds. He says maybe we could vibe code a fix.
The issue is, right, it's like per app, so you have to make some PRs for a bunch of these apps.
I do hear the complaint about the Nix documentation a lot.
I would be curious, because you sound like you're using Nix at a fairly sophisticated level. And it's true that, like, there could be better docs or more docs, but I sort of find, like, once I know a system to, like, that point, I'm sort of just kind of in the code anyway. So for me, like, the docs problem hasn't been as bad because I just assume for anything I'm going to use, I'm probably going to go read at least the module code. Maybe it gets more tangled if you're, like, into, like, Nix packages, build time helper frameworks for .NET packages or something. So I'd be curious to know, like, which particular areas are really falling down. I do sympathize. I've seen a lot of stuff on the NixOS subreddit. Like, I hate NixOS, but I hate it less than everything else.
Wow. That's rough. That's rough.
I don't feel that way, but, like, I think I can get the there are definitely paper cuts, frustrations, but it's also, it's hard to quit once you're there.
That's true. Okay. Good luck. Keep us posted, sir.
Dornail 7887 comes in with a row of ducks. Alby Hub deep dive question.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, and it's a suggestion, actually.
All right, I'm going to get my notepad out, Wes.
Alby Hub deep dive suggestion. After setting it up myself, the channels thing is really still confusing to me. I was surprised to find out I had to type 150k sats just to open a channel to send a small amount. Forget the tech barrier to entry, the upfront cost seems like it might be a bigger barrier. Any advice to reduce that barrier? Maybe the JB node would be open to supporting small channels for newbies?
So this is, I think, the tricky part of setting up your own node and why services like Fountain just do all of this for you, right? Is the way Lightning works is it's an open source protocol and it's a peer-to-peer system, and the peers are these channels between nodes. And the reason why the liquidity gets locked up, the 150K in your case, is that way it's a guarantee that the amounts can be sent across those channels instantly. The funds are essentially guaranteed in there. So that is tricky, and I agree with you. And so I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's for people that like to mess with computers. And I think it's also for people that might use it with multiple applications. If your only application is boosting, I just don't know if it's worth it.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot to invest both time, operations, in terms of all software and running it. And then, as you're finding out, and it's very true, it is like, especially if you don't already have like a pile of Bitcoin hanging around, you definitely need some capital to fully fund a node's liquidity. And it's worth calling that out.
There are ways to buy channel liquidity for pretty cheap. Like you don't have to spend the entire there are liquidity providers, and there's some included in Alby, that you can commit, $15 and you get a 150K channel or something like that. So
it is worth noting that a lot of those, some of them are a single payment, some are like a monthly payment. And then if you do a single payment, often they'll keep them open, but they might close them if you don't use them.
Yeah.
So,
and then about the node, our node, that would not be a huge help because our node isn't particularly well established or well connected. You really want to be connected to nodes that have a good network graph. And there's like Ambrosia and something. There's sites that help you find that network graph. The Alby Hub ecosystem is growing because Alby supports something called Nostr Wallet Connect. And it's an unfortunate name because it invokes Nostr, but what it really is a secure way to connect into these things. And you're going to find more apps in the next couple of months that you never expected are about to announce support for that. And it's going to make Alby even more useful. So could be worth it there. But it's a great question. And channels is, I think, one of the things we have to spend some time on for sure. Appreciate that boost.
Well, we have a boost here from MixZP for 10,000 sats.
It's over 9,000!
They say, I couldn't agree more with you on AI and LLMs from last episode. I work primarily as a sysadmin at an R1 university, and I'm heavily using Claude for projects with software I'm just not familiar with what researchers want. I also had the exact same experience regarding a NIC card that Claude was able to solve. The biggest problem in this space is its explosive growth and the fantasy money flowing between companies.
The circular deals. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty reasonable to expect some of that's going to fade out. Maybe a lot of it. But things like the functionality you just covered will probably still stand. And I don't think we'll have to have big tech frontier models for a lot of that, which I'm really excited about. Some of the stuff you will, but that particular use case, I don't think so much. Thanks for the field report, McZip. Give us some updates on how it goes. Appreciate that. All right, next boost comes from the Muso with 5,000 sats.
The traders love the vol.
I previously had printing problems on Nix as well, and it took me ages to work it out. I could find the printer on the network, but the driver just couldn't be determined, so I couldn't print, even if I chose the driver in the UI. I solved my problem by making sure services.avahi.nsmdns4, as well as Avahi itself, was enabled. You may also need NSMDNS6 if your printer uses or requires IPv6, and your network also has IPv6. Ah, yes, the old Avahi. Avahi, A-V-A-H-I, is what Apple used to call Bonjour, sort of auto DNS discovery where things find each other, and a lot of devices use it now. So you should probably have that on all your desktops if you're working with things like printers. But thank you, Muso, for letting us know. That could be helpful.
Yeah, this is one of those. I love it. Yeah, even without a linked config, you're getting Nix tips. And then this is exactly one of those things where like, okay, there's probably stuff, right? Maybe other distros automatically enable this because they just turn printing on for you no matter what.
Yeah.
On Nix, definitely. You're going to have to figure out that you need it. But then the plus side is once you do, it sticks in your config forever, so you don't have to re-figure that out. So pros and cons.
Yeah. That's a good one. And I guarantee you, like Ubuntu, they're just probably installing that. They're just installing that. Just taking care of it.
Fuzzy Mistborn comes in with a row of ducks. An Ansible repo for config confessions. I should probably go back and do some streamlining, but overall, it's served me well.
We didn't get this in. We did check the boost, but I checked them on Thursday. So, all right, we'll put this in if we do a version 3.
Yeah, stick it on the pile. Thank you, Fuzzy.
Thank you, Fuzzy. We'll take a look at that after the show.
Well, WRT54G boosted in a row of ducks. I'm sending in some of my very first sats to the show that helped me stay up to date and interested in Linux as I started my IT career. So thank you.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Oh, thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you, WRT. And yeah, stick with Fountain. You're going to see some impressive stuff coming soon. Appreciate the boost. User 75 came in with 2,099 sats.
Coming in hot with the boost.
Long-time listener, love the show. This is my Nix config. Oh, no! To be considered on the show. Also, I don't want to give you my real postal code, so here's one that's nearby. Uh-oh, Wes.
Ooh, postal code.
Hope you got the map. Wes
Dust
Payne.
off the map.
Here it is, the postal code nearby, 41830.
Yes, zip code is a better deal.
-050 if you need it. That should be pretty easy to find on your map there, Wes Payne. Just you did bring it, right? Oh, good. I thought you didn't have it there for a second.
Well, of course. I keep it in my bag.
Hey, I have a zip code question here.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I'm used to those first numbers, but what's with the dash numbers?
Sometimes-
Dash 050 is...
You need a little more accuracy sometimes.
What?
Yeah.
Was this like some kind of add-on or 2.0 or something?
You don't have that up in the Connects? You don't have like a little extra sometimes?
No, we use like, alphanumeric, and so you have enough precision.
I don't know why.
How does that?
Why would you want to go mixing letters and numbers when you could just have nice, clean numbers?
Yeah, it's actually really annoying to type into fields whenever you need to fill in your address.
Right?
Gotta say.
I can bang that out on a 10 key in 2 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. Right?
Okay, well, I'm going to guess here. And I did have to pull out my unfortunately little used Southern map module.
Okay.
But I believe this is a Brazilian postal code located in the Patuba neighborhood of Salvador in the state of Bahia.
Really? I hope that's right, because that's super neat. Thank you, user 75.
Where it's currently 81 degrees with wind from the east, 16 miles per hour.
Oh, man. Nice little breeze.
That map of yours.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's got features.
Really impressive. Very impressive.
Can we get a little map check for you there, Brent?
Yeah, does your map do that?
Where am I? Let me just pull out my map here and try to locate myself. Can we get? Do you hear my map? I don't know. If you can
I don't hear
my
it.
map.
You put up. Yeah, there you go. Get it closer to the mic.
Oh, yeah. It might take
like
a little bit.
Mylar map? What is that made out of?
Yeah, it's like what they make their money out of.
It's colored.
Yeah, it is pretty colors. That's for sure. It just doesn't feel real in the hands.
What?
Or in the market.
How can you feel that? I'm way over here.
So sad. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. What's your?
Okay, I don't have an exact postal code, but I have a nearishly postal code for you, if that works. Do you have more than just a 10 key?
Just tell us your weather, Brent. For God's sakes.
Oh,
we gotta move on.
I thought you wanted my postal code.
So angry. All right, GL8 comes in with 3,600 sats.
Fun will now commence.
Hello, everyone. Long-time
snowing.
listener here. It's snowing. There you go. Love all the JB shows. Although I'm boosting for my Albi Hub. I can't wait for that Albi Hub special. Cheers from Mexico. To my known postal code multiplied by 10. Oh my gosh, another postal code.
Whoa, I'm going to have to get out the analog mechanical calculator for my map.
You take the 3,600 and then you multiply it by the 10 and you have, what would have been a really great boost. But you also have his zip code. I don't know if you've got you.
Yes,
oh, okay, good.
zip code is a better deal.
There you go. Careful. God, careful, please.
I know, sharp edges.
I don't get workers' comp. Could you imagine trying to explain that? Yeah. Telling the doctor, how'd you get this injury? Well, you see, my buddy Wes was unfolding this map because somebody boosted in their zip code.
Futuristic map.
Yeah, All right.
Okay, I believe I have located. I had to do some scanning. I got a paper cut myself here on the on the stupid meat slicing module. But this would be a postal code in Guanajuato.
Oh,
where it is in Mexico, where it's a pleasant 77 degrees with less wind at 11 miles per hour.
That is great.
Also from the east, though. We're getting a lot of east wind today.
Thank you. And it's nice to hear from you out there. I love it. We're getting some around the world boosts. That's always pretty fun.
Thank you for listening. It really makes us feel special.
Yes, and taking the time to get the boost stuff set up, I know it can be a bit of a journey, and I love to see how many of you are taking on the AlbiHub challenge because you really get a sense. You get a sense of what the challenges are, but then it starts to click, too, the more you use it. And then, of course, thank you, everybody who streamed sats or boosted under our 2,000 sat cutoff. We did have 28 of you stream sats as you listened, and you collectively, all together, stacked 23,876 sats for the show. When you combine it with our boosters, and of course we had that baller boost that brought up our average, our total stats for this episode 640 of your Unplugged program, stacked 203,639 sats. Thank you, everybody. If you would like to support the show with a boost, Fountain FM makes it easier, and it's going to get even easier really soon. Not that I know, but I'm just saying. Also, you can set up an AlbiHub, and then there's a whole ecosystem of applications you can plug it in and boost the show with open source money. A huge thank you to our members, our Jupiter Party, and our core contributors who put that support on autopilot and support us every episode. You are our foundation, and we appreciate you. Details at linuxunplugged.com/membership. All right, gentlemen, we do have some picks before we go. And one of our first picks is from the community. Soltros now has Soltros OS and a website. His immutable Linux designed for gaming and development. He's got a couple of release tracks now, an LTS that follows Fedora's stable releases, and then an unstable that tracks upcoming features, beta, alpha channel stuff, with still some guardrails in place. And it has a beautiful website now. He's really, I think, really knocked it out of the park. And I tried this for a little bit on my Nixbook and loved it. He's got a Cosmic version, Plasma version, GNOME, and a Hypervibed Hyperland version coming very soon, as well as a Plasma big screen and Enlightenment. Yeah.
This is becoming a full-time thing, it sounds like.
It is. He's also working on the server edition. Wow. Really watching him go here. It's really something. So check it out at Soltros. That's SOLTROS.dev. It's pretty neat to see one of our community members working on something like that and watching.
Nice looking website too. This is slick.
I echo that.
I think
6 out of 5.
I think this is ahead of Hypervibe now, and I don't mean to be. I feel a little personally responsible because I've been helping, but Soltros OS for the lead
for sure, definitely. Okay, now a couple of different picks to help you do the same job, depending on the scale that you need. The first one we're going to mention is Parabolic. And Parabolic lets you download Vidya and Adya from the web. And it's a nice graphical front end to the YouTube DLP client. And it gives you some options and features. Also helps you support multiple downloads at the same time. Makes it really easy to pick if you want an MP4 or a WebM or a Opus or a FLAC or whatever it is that they might have. And it also will help you grab the metadata and subtitles if you need that for the video as well. And it's available as a package, and it's also available on FlatHub. It's called
That's the part that stood out to me is the sub. Not all of these tools make the subs and like that kind of stuff super easy. So this seemed like, you don't have to be like me who constantly runs YGDLP from Nix packages unstable without even caching it locally. So if you want an easier time, use Parabolic. Plus, isn't that a cute name? I know it's a little silly, but just like a parabolic dish. It's like receiving all of your content from the internet.
Good icon, too. Makes for a good icon. And it's GPL 3. So nice and easy. Now, so that's
mostly C++. We don't get too many of those, but there you go. Should be fast.
Interesting. Now, so that's on the desktop scale. Maybe you're a little more industrial scale on your needs here. And this is where, and you can tell what they're trying to invoke with this name, YouTube R or UTAR comes in. It's a self-hosted web app that automates downloading, organizing, and scheduling YouTube channel content with support for Plex, Kodi, Emby, and Jellyfin info. And I think what stands out to me is, unlike Pinchflat, which I use for a similar task, you could have a web UI on your network and you could just grab one-off videos, or you could do automated stuff. And it can do channel archiving. There is also, I think, a really nice option here for parents that are trying to curate the YouTube experience for their kids. There's some family-friendly curated options in here that I think are a really great option. And then you just play the videos back through Jellyfin or Plex. And they never go on YouTube. And it is designed to download all of the extra info you need, so that way you have all of the nice-looking display in your media player of choice. It's a really
interesting.
nice UI, too. I think the UI is top-notch.
Pinch Flat's pretty great, but it does work a little better as sort of infrastructure where it's like, well, I know I have these channels that I always want you to like populate, whereas this does seem a little more friendly for ad hoc stuff that maybe you want to grab a couple of videos, you don't want to follow them, you don't need to download all the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, or maybe like one live stream you know is coming up and you want to grab it. This is great for that. This will do that. So it's UTAR, YOUTARR, UTAR. And did I grab the license for that one? I made a note of the...
It's the ISC license.
Oh, there you go. I did not make a note of it, but thank you for grabbing that. Yeah, it looks like it's a lot of JavaScript and TypeScript, and then a little bit of Docker and a little bit of shell script.
Yeah, they do have some Docker Compose example files, so that's probably the easiest way to get started if you do want to give it a try.
Indeed. We'll have links to that in our show notes. Again, linuxunplugged.com/640. Now, if you made it this far, you might already know, but Wes, we have some pro features for people that maybe they're going to revisit an episode, or maybe there's a topic they want to replay or a topic they want to skip. We have it all ready for them, either in the Podcasting 1.0 client or even more so in the 2 clients. Tell them all about it.
Yeah, that's right. We use the Apple-approved Podcasting 2.0 tags in our feed, and that means we have both transcripts and chapters. So chapters for the high granularity, skip around at the high-level content. Transcripts for when you want to know exactly what we said and when we said it.
So the reference Wes is making there is Apple announced they're adopting yet another Podcasting 2.0 feature, which I think this is like the 3rd one that they've onboarded now. And so the chapters and the transcript standards that we have been using now for a couple of years are being adopted by one of the largest podcast clients in the world. And all of our episodes for the last few years are just going to have all of that information. It'll just be turned on for Apple Podcast listeners when they get their app updated. And there's a bunch of great apps, new podcast apps, if you want to switch to a 2.0 app, so that way you can listen to us live and you get all the stuff Wes was just talking about and instant updates when we update. You know,
expect more from your podcasts, from your podcast apps, and from your podcast feeds. We can do better.
That's right.
And we try.
We try.
Every week.
We'd love it if you joined us live next Sunday. We'll do it live. It's a Tuesday on a Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.
We'd love it if you join us in our Mumble. Links at linuxunplugged.com. Join us there, too, for anything you want to look up. Thanks for seeing us and joining us. No, I'll do that over again. That's horrible. Thanks for seeing us? I don't know what that was. I think I'm having a stroke.
You got video on the brain, yeah.
I think I'm having a blood sugar crash. All right, let me do a clean one. I think I am. I'm like, oh, God, I got to eat. Okay. All right, everything we talked about today, linked at linuxunplugged.com/640. Mumble Room info's over there, Matrix info, membership, contact, all of that. Thanks so much for joining us. See you next week. All right, thank you, Drew. Maybe fade that out a little bit if you would. All right, gentlemen, ready for all stopping? Here we go. All stopping. Ready. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Bye, Drew. Stop. There we go. All right, and then we got to pick our title here in a minute. And I got to eat something because I'm fading.
It's title time.
Yes, so let's unleash the title hounds. See if my title comes through. I was a little...
You wish.
I was a little bit of a doubter. We'll see.
You know, never.
We'll see. Don't forget to call the launch. My God.
I think you mean call the launch.
Ooh, ba 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 ba.
Yeah, there we go.
We're standing. Ooh, call the. No, I don't. Call the. Let me call.
Call the launch. We're standing by. 774-462-5667. That's the line.
Oh.
774.
But that's the line.
All right, the titles are coming in, gentlemen. Let's officially.
It's time to vote.
Let's do it. Everybody get in that chat room. The vote copter is heading in. You need to get your vote in before the copter leaves. The title that you would tap if you had not heard the episode. What would make you want to listen if it showed up in your podcast feed? That's our goal. Your tap can make all the difference. Vote now.
Jeff's getting all the good ones in after we already did the thing.
Oh, I see you going in for the spell correct snipe. Like, we couldn't just spell correct the original title. I see what you're doing. Confess your mess.
Yeah, you know, why not?
Roast the Host edition.
Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, where's Brent's config? Wasn't he supposed to send that in this week?
Yeah, imports and imposters. That would be fun to do our own. We should do
we should.
Maybe we could do a member special where we roast our own or something.
That's a great idea.
That is a fun idea, actually.
Sops for me, roasts for thee.
Okay.
Did you guys already roast yours? Like either on the last
Mine.
Confessions?
We've roasted mine.
Yeah, Chris's is easy to roast.
Hey, and I mean, we've roasted some of yours.
I'll note that it doesn't seem like the
other.
other boys are willing to post theirs in public, at least and not announce it, but I have.
Is it really yours or is it Cursor's?
How can you test the builds if you don't post it in public?
Too config, too furious.
PJ, are you watching the video in Fountain? Is that what you're saying right now? Yeah, the video's 30 to 40 seconds behind. But if you're watching the video in Fountain, that's effing awesome.
That is awesome.
That's using the alt enclosure right there.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, well, we embed the HLS in the RSS feed as an alternative enclosure. Oh, the audio. Oh, okay. I was gonna say that'd be awesome. And some of the clients now do support it, so you can swap between the audio and video version of the live feed. It's so great, so cool. Okay, do we have a winner here?
We got a bunch of ties, I think.
Yeah, we need to consolidate some of this action. This is a problem, you guys.
How many times am I allowed to vote?
Well, I mean, we never really have said, but I don't feel like voting in bunches. Really in the spirit of things, you know?
Oh. Is that just understood universally?
I don't know if I see the video in Fountain. No, I'm testing it.
Yeah, I think it's only maybe in a beta version or something. I like Config Confessions 2 because it's like it's like it could be a theme.
It's a thing we're doing.
The series.
Yeah, it could be. If people want a third one, I don't know. If they do, I think they're crazy. I think they probably. I'm going to bet people have had their fill now. But I do like the idea of Config Confessions 2. And if we could work in a movie Hollywood, like a very stereotypical reference to like a sequel title, I think that could be great. That's why I was going with The Linting.
The Linting is pretty good.
Or Config Confessions in Space. I think in Space is probably like the third or fourth one, though. You don't go to space in the second one. It's like the third or fourth one you go to space. So, uh-oh.
There you go. You just sold it. You'll have to do another one.
Oh, boy. Now, what do we do here? What do we do here on the title? What do we do? High Performance Thought Simulator. God, it gets me every time.
I could still see your face when you're cracking up when you deployed that on me.
I know.
You just couldn't hold it in. It's so good.
It's so funny. Like, I know you're not supposed to laugh at your own jokes, but I just find that shit funny. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you don't, who will? You know?
Yeah.
You can't rely on an audience, not these days.
Man, we almost need like a consolidated round or something, but I think what we do is go Config Confessions 2, and but what? What is the tagline? What's the movie tagline?
Too config, too furious. That's so funny.
It is so good.
Oh, that's...
So in the meantime...
Son of Flakes, Son of Channels.
Chris, I found the perfect music for title picking.
Okay, what is it? I mean, other than Airwolf?
Well, Airwolf, but also something more. I posted it in the chat.
What about Config Confessions Resurrection? No? Okay, chat. Gotta go to the chat. Where's the chat? Oh, where in the chat? Where is it in the chat? Here we go. Boop. I don't have a way to play it on this machine, but I'll take a look at it. Oh, yeah. I've seen, yeah. I actually have that. I play that one sometimes. I have that on the soundboard. I like it. I just went for a different vibe this week, but Config Confessions 2 Returns of the Configs, Return of the Configs, Revenge of the Configs. Revenge of the Configs?
Cool, revenge. I like revenge.
Revenge of the Configs? Huh?
Revenge
Right,
of
to be
the
Revenge of the
Channel
Nerds.
Flake Revenge.
It's kind of a play on Revenge of the Nerds and Revenge of the Sith, you know? Kind of, so it'd be Config Confessions, Revenge of the Configs. That's one option. Strikes Back, Reloaded, Reborn, Resurrection, The Return, The
Returns,
Beginning.
yeah. Like Batman Returns.
We should figure out a way to do a prequel version. Like maybe it's like some older config, like x86 configs or something. That's a prequel.
Yeah, we'll roast your X11 config.
Yeah, or your Nginx, like people that do it, like send us your by hand Nginx config, and then we'll, like before people had management tools, and we'll roast them.
2 demerits, not Apache.
Yeah. What do you think?
Live free or vibe hard?
I mean, I think Revenge of the Configs is going to be hard to beat.
Return of the Linter?
Yeah, unless we like the linting or the lintening.
I like the lintening
I don't
quite a
hate
bit.
that.
Do we like it better than Revenge of the Configs?
It's a little snappier.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Upset in the titles here. All right, we'll spell check the one in the doc, and maybe we'll go with that. Interesting upset. Last minute.
Config confession, step right in. Tell us where it broke again.
That assumes that it broke.
That's true.
And sure, it did break, but it didn't have to break.
And now, back to Config Confessions. All right.
Wouldn't it be Config Confessions, The Wrath of Wes?
That could be good. The Wrath of Wes is good for the second one. I can't believe I didn't think of Wrath of Khan. Although I said I was the villain, since you guys were picking on me. Both of you were picking on me.
Wrath of Chris. All right.
There we
All
go.
right,
I think I got it.
It could be Wrath of Wes, because he was... But you were too. You were poking me too. What do you got, Wes? What do you got?
Well, it's in the Matrix. What do you think?
Oh, it isn't. I didn't see it.
Follow the rules here.
Yeah. Deuce Bigelow, Nick's OS Bigelow. Gigolo, I mean. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Deuce Configolo, Nick's OS Gigolo.
Nailed it.
That is pretty good.
I think we're done here.
Uh-huh. And we know what we're watching.
Have we ever
after
had
the
an X-rated title before?
You're triggering my putting the Nick's OS in the title, but otherwise I love it.
Could be workstation, desktop jiggle. I don't know. There's, you could swap that.
Oh,
word.
that's interesting. Deuce Configolo, desktop Gigolo. Home lab Gigolo. I think I like desktop Gigolo better. I mean,
Config Gigolo?
huh? Config. It's already in there. Is the thing? That's pretty tempting. I mean, so that's good. But okay, so do we like that better than Config Confessions 2, Revenge of the Configs, or any of that stuff? Yeah,
I don't mind the lintening one. Is also pretty good.
I'm adding all these to the doc. That's what I'm doing. Do. What do we do? Desktop Gigolo. Maybe.
What's the character limit on a title?
I usually say about 3 words. So whatever that works out to be. These are all a
If it
little
does
long.
take up so 3 lines would be okay.
Well, 3.
Instead, we'll make an exception.
No, not 3 lines.
Yeah, we'll just use really long German compound words.
The podcast catchers just cut them all off anyway, so. They don't enjoy our humor. They don't find it funny. All right, so Config Confessions 2, the linting, or Deuce Configalo Desktop Jiggle. I mean, I think that one made us laugh the most. I think we should go with that one. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's
good.
probably good,
The one
if
that
a laugh isn't worth the click, what is?
Yeah. All right. Well, now 640's got a banger of a title. We'll give it that at least. I like it. Okay. Nicely done, gentlemen. We should run because we're running long and we need to get this turned around to Drew.
We are.
Mumble Room,
He
thanks
gets
for
so
hanging
bad.
with us, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Come back now, y'all here, or something. Y'all come back soon, something like that. Next Sunday, maybe, or Tuesday.
Quick question: have you seen my my mestastic device?
I don't know. Have I? Is this
I've
a
posted
private?
Is this like a your fridge is running sort of joke?
Yeah, I know. I was like, where is he going with this?
No, I've been Frankensteining with some modular devices. So I've
Oh,
posted it to the group.
okay. Oh, okay.
Fun.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
have a look.
That's awesome. I want more Meshtastic things happening in this world. And then I want them and BitChat to have a nice, happy relationship somehow. I don't know how, but one day. All right, gentlemen. Take the rest of the day off. You have our approval. Send them to Brent if there's any complaints, all right? Bye, Mumble Room. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
And, of course, thank you for tuning in live. If you're watching live, either over at jblive.tv or FM or over on the tubes or on the Twitches or whatever.
Thank you for letting us throw our audio packets or video packets your way.
That's real nice of you, and we do appreciate you. And then, of course, it's the members that make it possible. That's why we have a bootleg to begin with. So I made you a little song just for you. Nothing complicated, just on theme for the end of Config Confessions Bootleg Edition. Thank you, members. See you next week.